Chapter 321. No wonder they mentioned earlier. We have to deal with corpses again. Lu Qing and the others, all with exceptional strength and united efforts, managed to transport all the bodies out before nightfall. They then dug a large pit in a nearby forest and buried them. As for the head of that young girl, Lu Qing found a nice spot with good feng shui and buried it properly. After burying all the corpses, when he returned to the temple, Lu Qing burned some herbal medicines around the courtyard and inside the main hall to dispel the stench of blood. Having busied himself with all these tasks, it was already completely dark. Senior Su, after all that has happened today, I think everyone is tired. How about we rest first and continue our journey together in the morning? Lu Qing said. That would be very good. My daughter is also greatly shaken and indeed needs to sleep early to regain her spirits. The plump, middle-aged man nodded in agreement. At this moment, he also realized. Since they had eliminated the mountain bandits, Lu Qing was no longer so low-key and had become much more assertive. Many decisions, Dr. Chun no longer voiced his opinion, leaving Lu Qing to decide. So, they each occupied half of the main hall, arranged the bedding, and prepared to rest. A few moments later, behind a roll of bamboo curtains, the elder doctor and Lu Qing sat opposite each other. An odd aura surrounded them within 3 feet, concealing all traces of their presence. Master, there is something I don't quite understand. Why do you want to travel with Senior Su and the others to the Flowing Cloud sect? This question had lingered in Lu Qing's mind all afternoon. After all, their trip to the Flowing Cloud sect was no small matter, and a slight misstep might lead to very severe consequences. According to his master's usual character, he should not want to involve others. I can't explain it clearly what the matter is. As the evening approached, when we came to this mountain god temple and got close to Mr. Su and the others, for some reason, I had a very strong premonition. It seems that they will soon encounter a great danger and all die untimely deaths. You felt a premonition, Master? Lu Qing's heart chilled. He knew his master possessed the merit light, which brought divine protection. Such premonitions were not mere speculation but could be celestial warnings. Yes, this premonition was so intense that it shook my heart and spirit. It seems to relate to something exceedingly important, so I want to see exactly what it is. Great danger. Does it refer to the mountain bandits from before? Lu Qing whispered, but he quickly dismissed that guess. The previous situation seemed dangerous, but in reality, the bandits weren't very strong. With Senior Su's cultivation nearing great success in the internal organs realm, even if they hadn't encountered them, breaking through wouldn't have been difficult. It was his disciples who might have suffered some harm. But just that should not be enough to trigger such a premonition in his master. Could it be that something significant is going to change during our journey to the Flowing Cloud sect? Lu Qing stroked his chin, deep in thought. The purpose of Senior Su's journey was to see the excitement at the Flowing Cloud sect. After all, with many sects in Yunzhou joining forces to confront the Flowing Cloud sect for its actions, such a grand event was something anyone would want to witness. But judging from the master's intuitive warning, the excitement at the Flowing Cloud sect might not be as simple as expected. Ah Qing, have you thought of something? Seeing his disciple lost in thought, the elder doctor couldn't help but ask. I have a slight idea, but I am not certain. Master, since you have already accepted Senior Su's invitation, as long as we accompany them on the road, we will naturally find out the answer. I think the same. I can sense that Mr. Su and his companions are righteous people. Knowing that they might face impending danger, we should help if we can, especially since it's on our way. I'll follow Master's decision, Lu Qing said with a smile. The merit light was indeed miraculous. Ever since his master stepped into the innate realm, the extraordinary abilities he manifested became even more formidable. Even his intuition to discern good from evil was almost comparable to his own superpower detection. Having resolved the doubts in his mind, Lu Qing and the elder doctor each went to rest. Their conversation had been undetectable by a third party from beginning to end. A night passed without incident, and the next day, Lu Qing got up early and started preparing breakfast in the courtyard. Young Master Lu, you're up quite early? The round, middle-aged man came out upon hearing the noise outside. Old Ma and I take turns keeping watch at night. I usually am responsible for the late night, so I just go ahead and prepare breakfast, waiting for the master and the others to get up and eat. Just in time, Senior Su. I've also made your portion. We'll eat together later. Lu Qing busied himself and replied. Then we won't be polite. The round middle-aged man was first delighted. Then he sighed. So it turns out you weren't up early, young Master Lu, but rather you hadn't slept all night. When we're on the road, we always have to be careful. We've become used to it. Indeed, when traveling, one must always be careful and cautious. It's just a pity that my useless disciples don't have young Master Lu's vigilance. Last night they all slept like logs. If there had been a sneak attack by mountain bandits like last night, I fear the first to die would have been them. The round, middle-aged man shook his head and sighed. They are all disciples, yet why is there such a big gap between his and Dr. Chen's? Look at Lu Qing. Not only does he cook top-notch cuisine, even for matters such as keeping watch and vigilance, Dr. Chen does not need to worry. Everything is perfectly arranged. Compared to that, his disciples really seem as dull as pigs. Perhaps Brother One and the others were too exhausted from yesterday's travel, Lu Qing said with a smile. During yesterday's casual conversation, Lu Qing knew that the three male disciples of the round middle-aged man were two actual brothers with the surname Wen, one named Wen Bin, another named Wen Wu, and the other had the surname Su, and had all been following him since they were little. There's no need to speak well of them for their sake, young Master Lu. I don't have much hope now. If they could end up with half of your abilities, young Master Lu, I'd be more than content, the round middle-aged man said, shaking his head. Coincidentally awake and coming out from the hall, Wei Ziyan was stunned upon hearing this. He thought to himself that Senior Su really dared to dream, having half the abilities of Dr. Lu Qing. Even their Wei family's ancestors would not dare say such a thing. You're just in the internal organs realm, but you have such wishful thinking. Ziyan is awake, excellent. Go wake up little Yen and little Li as well. Tell them that breakfast is ready. Lu Qing saw Wei Ziyan and called out. As Wei Ziyan re-entered the hall, the round middle-aged man also said, Then I'll go wake up those useless disciples of mine. When the round middle-aged man called his disciples, it was with some emotion. After all, he hadn't felt it much when there wasn't a comparison before. Now, with an outstanding disciple like Lu Qing of someone else's present, the more he looked at his own disciples, the more frustrated he felt. Thus, when calling them to get up, he couldn't help but use a heavier hand. So much so that during breakfast, Su Ping, who was the last to wake up, saw that several of her senior brothers had more bruising on their faces and couldn't help but be curious. Wen Bin, what happened to your faces? Did you fall down last night while sleeping? The round, middle-aged man immediately cast a glance away. Feeling his master's gaze, Wen Bin stiffened, quickly forced a smile and said, Yes, last night we were sleeping, and we accidentally hit something when we turned over. All three of you bumped into something? Su Ping was puzzled. Wen Bin hesitated. Yes, we slept behind the divine platform. It's too narrow there. Just turning over can get you bumped. Oh, then you guys have to be more careful in the future. Su Ping nodded and continued to eat. The food made by Mr. Lu was really delicious. It was simply a meat porridge, but he made it especially flavorful. It's just that the man was a bit cold. Otherwise, it would have been perfect. Seeing that the junior sister didn't inquire further, the three Wen Bin members sighed in relief while also feeling extremely embarrassed. They indeed had been far too impolite that morning. Dr. Chen and the others were already up, and even Mr. Lu had prepared breakfast. Yet they were still not awake. With such lack of manners, no wonder their master would be angry. Lu Qing and the others watched this scene and chuckled secretly, but they also didn't expose them. After breakfast, everyone began to pack their luggage and set off. This time, on the road, there were no more mishaps. 2 days later, Lu Qing and the others arrived at the entrance of a bustling town. Luyun Town, Dr. Chen, we've finally arrived. Looking at the stone stele outside the town, the round middle-aged man happily exclaimed. Chapter 322. Silver-tongued, the volatile Silver Moon Sect Master. Luyun Town. Lu Qing looked at the town ahead and asked, Senior Su, what connection does this town have with the Flowing Cloud sect? This town is essentially a subsidiary of the Flowing Cloud sect, specially set up to supply the sect with various necessities of life. After all, as a major sect, the Flowing Cloud sect can't possibly allow those idle people to come and go from their mountain gates every day. Hence, they usually go down the mountain to purchase supplies in large quantities every so often, in order to meet the needs of the sect's disciples. I see. Lu Qing looked ahead, his divine soul power faintly probing. It looks like we haven't arrived too late. The major sects haven't started their campaign yet. In Lu Qing's perception, Luyun Town was currently filled with numerous powerful presences. There were more than a dozen auras with restrained chi blood, seemingly dormant like volcanoes, harboring formidable strength, yet unmanifested. Clearly, these were genuine martial arts experts, far more powerful than Senior Su beside him. However, Lu Qing was surprised that he did not sense the presence of anyone in the innate realm. He wondered if the innate realm experts from the major sects were not present, or if they used special secret methods to conceal their innate essence. Now at his level of cultivation, Lu Qing knew that the peculiar essence of the innate realm could allow innate realm experts to sense each other's presence upon close proximity, even without a direct encounter. But this wasn't absolute. In the world, there were still special secret methods, or unique exotic treasures, capable of concealing that innate essence. At least he had witnessed such cases before. For instance, the exotic treasure on Lin Jirue, a disciple of the Tianji building, could conceal all aura, even deceiving little Li's senses. And then there was his master, who, since comprehending the complete innate domain, could perfectly conceal his own innate essence, becoming undetectable to other innate realm experts. Master, shall we go in? Lu Qing knew that his master should also be able to sense the situation inside the town. The elder doctor thought for a moment and shook his head. No need. Let's just find a place to settle down outside the town. There's no need to go in and invite trouble unnecessarily. I think so too. Lu Qing nodded. Despite the appearance of the major sects joining forces gathered at Flowing Cloud sect as if united against a common enemy, things were not so simple. At least Lu Qing could sense several powerful auras in town, not yielding to each other, with a hint of confrontation. This indicated that within these so-called allied sects, conflicts were numerous, and certainly not of one mind. In such a situation, who knew what might happen next? It was better for them to stay outside the town and watch how things unfolded. Dr. Chan, young Master Lu, aren't we entering the town? The round, middle-aged man was somewhat surprised. We won't go in, said the elder doctor. Since we are here just to watch the excitement and broaden our horizons, there's no need to get too close. It's better to observe from a distance and avoid any trouble. All right then, the round, middle-aged man could only say. But he didn't believe that the elder doctor and his companions would truly fear any trouble. The way Lu Qing and his companions slaughtered those mountain bandits a couple of days ago was still vivid in his mind. People who can kill so decisively, how could they possibly be afraid to even enter a small town? However, since the elder doctor said so, the round, middle-aged man naturally wouldn't object. Over the past 2 days, interacting with them, he had come to realize that Dr. Chun and Lu Qing's party were quite mysterious, with many aspects beyond his comprehension. Like their cultivation, for instance. He saw with his own eyes how Lu Qing, with an awe-inspiringly beautiful hidden weapon technique, instantly took down more than 20 bandits armed with bows and hidden weapons. But no matter how he observed and sensed afterward, he couldn't determine Lu Qing's true cultivation level. In his perception, from beginning to end, the Qi blood power that Lu Qing displayed was merely at the Qi blood realm level and had never changed. The same went for Dr. Chun. He seemed perfectly ordinary, and besides being more spirited than the average old man, showed no extraordinary traits. But to have raised a disciple like Lu Qing and to command the sincere respect and willingness to serve from 2 martial arts high experts like Ma Gu and Wei Zian, how could he be an ordinary person? Therefore, the more the round, middle-aged man observed Lu Qing and his companions over the past 2 days, the more he was astonished. Fortunately, Lu Qing and his companions were friendly and not overbearingly arrogant. Plus the food they cooked was truly delicious. Otherwise, during their journey, he would have considered taking his daughter and disciples to slip away quietly. Thus, Lu Qing and his companions found a nice spot in the mountains near the small town and prepared to settle down temporarily. Of course, they weren't the only ones who had come to the vicinity of Luyun town upon hearing the news, wishing to watch the excitement without getting involved. Many other unattached martial artists also chose not to enter the town and hid themselves in nearby locations, ready to flee at any moment if anything went wrong. While Lu Qing and his companions were busy, in the largest tavern within Luyun town, many powerful figures were sitting solemnly. "This is preposterous, Wang Pan. What does your flowing cloud sect mean by this? So many sects have come to visit together, and instead of welcoming us through your mountain gates, you've arranged for us to stay in this rundown tavern? Are you deliberately trying to humiliate us?" Chapter 323. Suddenly, a brawny man carrying a long axe slammed the table and stood up angrily, exclaiming, "Senior Zhao is mistaken. Our flowing cloud sect has always been known for its hospitality. There is absolutely no such intention. It's just that you all arrived suddenly, and we were unprepared. There is a limited supply of food and drink on the mountain, preventing us from hosting you properly. That's why we have had to ask you to stay temporarily in this small town. We hope our fellow Taoists will forgive us." A man in white clothes, tall and handsome, then bowed deeply and explained with a smile on his face. A hand doesn't strike a smiling face. Seeing how humble his attitude was, the brawny man who had stood up could not continue his outburst and could only sit down with a cold snort. Others found it inappropriate to push the issue further. However, hearing him mention that the Flowing Cloud sect was known for its hospitality, everyone's face showed a peculiar expression. The tyrannical and overbearing reputation of the Flowing Cloud sect was well known in Yunzhou. Wang Pan could shamelessly speak of hospitality. Truly, he was a famous smiling tiger. "Wang Pan, when exactly can we ascend to Luyun Mountain? We have traveled thousands of miles. Surely, we cannot be left hanging by your Flowing Cloud sect indefinitely." At that moment, a fair-faced, middle-aged man dressed like a scholar spoke up. "Mr. Dai, resta sourd. As soon as the sect's disciples have cleaned the guest rooms and prepared the food and beverages, we will immediately open the mountain gate and welcome all of you to wash away the dust of your journey and show our hospitality," Wang Pan said with a smile. Seeing his consistent smile, everyone felt like they were hitting cotton, unsure of what to do. "Humph, no need." At that moment, a chilling voice came from outside the inn. "We major sects didn't come here for your Flowing Cloud sect's food and drinks. Wang Pan, go back and tell your sect master Emojan that if he doesn't open the mountain gate soon, we will force our way up. Then let's see if your Flowing Cloud sect can hold against so many sects from Yunzhou fighting you simultaneously." As this voice faded, a strong aura swept in, and more than 10 martial artists entered the inn. Leading them was a middle-aged man with wide sleeves, his hair tied up high, a stern face and a long beard. Wang Pan's face changed upon seeing this extraordinary middle-aged man. However, before he could say anything, another somewhat hoarse voice spoke. "Sect Master Shan is right. The actions of the Flowing Cloud sect in recent years have indeed become more and more excessive. Do they really think they're the leader of the righteous in Yunzhou?" Accompanied by the hoarse voice, another dozen figures walked in. Moreover, the moment these figures entered, they caught everyone's attention in the inn. Leading them was a middle-aged woman in gray, of average appearance. But behind her were more than a dozen young women, each beautiful and distinguished, quite a sight. "Deputy Palace Master Lu, you've also arrived?" The high-haired, middle-aged man bowed slightly. "Sect Master Shan, Deputy Palace Master Lu." The other martial artists in the inn also stood and bowed in respect. Seeing this scene, Wang Pan's pupils shrank. For the Palace Master of the Silver Moon sect and the Deputy Palace Master of the Palace of 100 Blossoms to come together was indeed not good news for their Flowing Cloud sect. Other sects could be ignored by their Flowing Cloud sect. But as one of the three great sects of Yunzhou alongside the Silver Moon sect and Palace of 100 Blossoms, they definitely couldn't be taken lightly. Because, while the strength of these two major sects was slightly inferior to that of their Flowing Cloud sect, if they joined forces plus other small sects present, even their Flowing Cloud sect would struggle to resist. Greetings, Sect Master Shan, Deputy Palace Master Lu. Wang Pan gathered his heart and spirit, forced a smile, and bowed deeply. Smiling Tiger, there's no need for pretense here. I ask you, where is Emotion? So many of us have come from Yunzhou, and he, as the head of a sect, is hiding up in the mountain, not even showing his face, sending only you, his direct disciple, down to handle things. Isn't that a bit too arrogant? Facing Wang Pan's smiling face, the Silver Moon sect master remained unmoved, only responding coldly. Sect Master Shan, just a few days ago, my master sensed something in his martial arts and had an epiphany. Thus he sequestered himself and has yet to emerge. Wang Pan, as his disciple, did not dare to rashly disturb him, for fear of interrupting Master's epiphany and committing an unforgivable mistake. Please, Sect Master Shan, see the truth. Wang Pan forced a smile. Oh, is there really such a coincidence in the world? The Silver Moon sect master said, his face revealing a hint of mockery. Isn't it rumored that Flowing Cloud sect's young vice sect master, Emojan's beloved son, was slaughtered by someone a while ago? To be able to have epiphanies in martial arts when his own son was killed, your sect master is indeed ruthlessly cold. Wang Pan's face changed. Sect Master Shan, please be cautious with your words. Our young vice sect master was unfortunately murdered, and our master is deeply grieved. I have repeatedly seen his profound sorrow. Please do not smear his name, Sect Master Shan. Humph. So his beloved son dies, and he is profoundly sad. Then what about my disciple? What should I feel? Your Flowing Cloud sect uses Emotion's death to extort resources from other sects. How should we settle this account? The Silver Moon sect master coldly stated. Sect Master Shan, we too are deeply saddened by the death of your esteemed disciple. At that time, he had a conflict with our Elder Chiu. He struck fiercely without declaring his sect, leading Elder Chiu to believe he was a practitioner of the demon path. In his anger, he struck too harshly, injuring his life. It was truly a misunderstanding, not Elder Chiu's intention to kill your esteemed disciple. Please understand, Sect Master. As for the accusations of our sect's disciples extorting resources from the major sects, that was a huge misunderstanding. The original order from our master was to investigate the true cause of the young vice sect master's death. Unexpectedly, a few disciples, blinded by greed, misused the sect's orders to extort. Now, the sect has captured those responsible, and we will leave their fate to the sect masters to decide after settling this matter. Good. 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 Watching Wang Pan speak smoothly, not only did he whitewash the sins committed by the Flowing Cloud sect, but he pushed the blame towards some insignificant people, even counterclaiming that his own disciples were part of the demon path. The Silver Moon sect master laughed angrily. You truly are Emojan's most outstanding disciple, with your sly tongue and facade of amiableness. Even I can't help but admire you. However, Wang Pan, I think you've misunderstood something today. I didn't come here to waste words with you. If Emojan does not come out personally to explain, then I shall start by targeting his most outstanding disciple. Let him also experience the pain of losing a beloved disciple. With that, the Silver Moon sect master flicked his sleeve. His shoulders shifted slightly, and his palm, like a dragon's claw exploring, shot out from his sleeve towards Wang Pan. Wang Pan did not anticipate that someone of sect master stature would resort to such an unseemly method, almost like a sneak attack, launching at him suddenly. Startled, he moved his feet and swayed his body, creating several afterimages in an attempt to dodge this grab. Regrettably, his cultivation was inferior to that of the Silver Moon sect master, who had long stepped into the Grandmaster realm. Under the Grandmaster level refined claw technique of the Silver Moon sect master, his afterimages could not deceive his opponent. In just a moment, his true form was exposed and grabbed by the shoulder. Over here. The Silver Moon sect master's palm, having grabbed Wang Pan's shoulder, squeezed forcefully, instantly snapping his collarbone and pulling him over. Looking at the pain on Wang Pan's face, the Silver Moon sect master's hand moved to his neck. He whispered softly, "If I were to twist your neck right now, do you think your master would come out of seclusion?" Sect Master Shan. Please wait. The sudden action of the Silver Moon sect master took everyone by surprise. Even the deputy palace master of the Palace of 100 Blossoms was shocked and hurriedly called out. Chapter 324. Appearance of the Innate Realm, a shocking change. Sect Master Shan, hold on. Watching the Silver Moon sect master place his hand on Wang Pan's neck, Vice Palace Master Lu from the Palace of 100 Blossoms hastily called out. She feared he would really act impulsively and strangle Wang Pan to death. Yes, Sect Master Shan, please don't be rash. People from other sect forces were also extremely tense. They had come here to reason with the Flowing Cloud sect, seeking justice, but they did not wish to start off by outright burning bridges. If the Silver Moon sect master really came up and strangled Emojan's direct disciple, things would likely become irreparable at once. Hearing everyone's persuasion, the Silver Moon sect master, whose chi and blood had surged to his head, also slightly calmed down. The hand gripping Wang Pan also loosened a bit. Originally, as a sect master, he should not have been so agitated. But the one murdered by the Flowing Cloud sect elder was his most proud disciple. He was all alone in the world, childless throughout his life. What he cared about the most was undoubtedly his 5 direct disciples. Among them, the youngest was the most beloved by him, also his closing door disciple. The youngest had exceptional talent and understanding, and at just 17 was already at great success in the muscle-bone realm. With his potential, as long as he cultivated diligently, becoming a martial arts grandmaster in the future was almost a certainty. Even reaching the innate realm was not necessarily out of question. But now this disciple, with boundless talent and a promising future, who he regarded as his own child, was cruelly murdered by the Flowing Cloud sect, and they were still defaming him as a man of the demon path. How could the Silver Moon sect master swallow this grievance? Thinking of this, murderous intent surfaced once more on the face of the Silver Moon sect master, and his gaze towards Wang Pan also revealed intent to kill. This is bad. This old geezer really wants to kill me. When Wang Pan saw the murderous intent in the Silver Moon sect master's eyes, he was inwardly shocked and greatly alarmed. He wanted to struggle, but the gap in strength between him and the other was far more than just a few times. Now, with one of his arm's bones broken and his vitals pinched, how could he move? Just as the Silver Moon sect master was hardened in his heart to truly strangle Wang Pan to death, suddenly, a robust voice sounded, "Sect Master Shan, even if my disciple has offended in some way, as a sect master yourself, is it really necessary to stoop to his level and damage the reputation of your Silver Moon sect?" As the voice fell, a figure appeared in the restaurant. The newcomer was tall, dressed in a dark robe, hands clasped behind his back, emanating a stately and imposing aura. Master. Seeing the newcomer, Wang Pan, who was being choked and was already having some difficulty breathing, cried out with desperate joy, struggling to speak. Sect Master. The other Flowing Cloud sect disciples were also overjoyed. Montag 10. The people from the sect forces were shocked. Even the likes of Vice Palace Master Lu showed a serious expression, inwardly on guard. A person's reputation is like a tree's shadow. Over the past several decades, the Flowing Cloud sect had been flourishing and growing ever stronger, almost taking over as the leading sect in Yunzhou. Besides those 2 mysterious and unfathomable supreme elders, Emojan had also made a significant contribution to this success. Rumors had it that Emojan's cultivation had reached the terrifying realm just one step shy of the countless martial artists' coveted innate realm, an ultimate boundary within the postnatal limit where change arises, forging his own divine soul power. Before he spoke out, no one in the restaurant had managed to detect his presence. Just this alone seemed to confirm the rumors were true. Emojan, have you finally decided to show up? What's this? Wasn't your disciple saying you were in closed-door cultivation? How come, just as I've disposed of your proud disciple, you coincidentally appear? Among the watchful crowd, only the Silver Moon sect master was not surprised by Mo Zhan's appearance. He coldly sneered, flinging Wang Pan away, mocking with his words. Now that the main character had arrived, naturally, he no longer needed to lower himself to Wang Pan's level. While he truly wanted to crush Wang Pan to death as a sect master, he still needed to maintain a certain composure. But though death could be avoided, punishment could not. As the Silver Moon sect master flung Wang Pan away, he cleverly made a move, sending a subtle shock with his palm using a soft and even force, scattering Wang Pan's chi and blood power temporarily. This left Wang Pan momentarily weak and unable to gather strength to control his body, resulting in a heavy fall face down, his face bruised and injuries not light. Sorry, I was a bit too heavy-handed, and hurt your precious disciple, the Silver Moon sect master said indifferently after having thrown Wang Pan. Watching his disciple suffer such a humiliation did not change Mo Zhan's expression. He only smiled and said, "If my disciple dared to insult sect master Shan, this is the punishment he deserves. Mo is also thankful for your mercy, sect master Shan." Even though Mo Zhan was thoroughly polite and deliberately lowered his stance, the Silver Moon sect master did not buy it at all. He said coldly, "Cut the nonsense. The purpose of my visit today you should be clear about. Tell me, your Flowing Cloud sect elder killed my 5th disciple. How should this account be settled? And, these past days your Flowing Cloud sect has been plundering forces from other Yunzhou sects. What exactly do you mean by that? Do you really think that you can cover the sky with one hand in Yunzhou?" As these words were spoken, warriors from other sect forces in the restaurant all stood up. "That's right, sect master Mo. You must give us an explanation." The combined presence of so many powerful martial artists pressed forward, its oppressive power so strong that the other Flowing Cloud sect disciples all changed color and involuntarily took several steps back. This time, although not too many warriors from the major sect forces had come, each one of them was a powerhouse, with none of their cultivations below great success in the muscle-bone realm. Chapter 325. Such formidable combat strength, even our Flowing Cloud sect couldn't muster. Everyone, please remain calm. Faced with the powerful aura that could change the color of a martial arts grandmaster, sect master Mo still appeared composed, without any change in expression. He continued with a smile, "Regarding this matter, our Flowing Cloud sect already has a proper handling method. To be honest, I didn't expect that our sect would have disciples who would rob other sects. Such abhorrent actions are most certainly not the intention of our Flowing Cloud sect, purely the personal behavior of some greedy disciples. Towards such evil deeds, our Flowing Cloud sect has always abhorred them deeply and will never tolerate them. Therefore, several days ago, our Flowing Cloud sect already apprehended all the disciples and elders involved in robbing other sects. Now they are imprisoned in the dungeon behind the mountains, and if you, fellow Taoists, will follow me up the mountain later, I will hand them all over to you for disposition. As for the losses of the major sects, our Flowing Cloud sect will also return them doubled. As for Elder Chiu, who killed your disciple, he has also been imprisoned." Mo Zhan added to the Silver Moon sect master, "I will personally hand him over to you, sect master Shan. Whether to kill or flay him, that will be up to you. Our Flowing Cloud sect will not interfere." "Sect master Shan, are you satisfied with this arrangement?" The martial artists from various sect forces exchanged glances upon hearing these words. They didn't expect that the Flowing Cloud sect would be so easy to talk to. It's known that the actions of the Flowing Cloud sect were always overbearing, especially in recent decades where they've become even more aggressive. If not for being so oppressed that they couldn't bear it any longer, why would they have come to the Flowing Cloud sect? To be realistic, they were prepared for a desperate battle before coming here. But now, Mo Zhan unexpectedly showed weakness, offering to hand over their own disciples and elders. When had the Flowing Cloud sect ever shown such submissiveness? This gave the martial artists from various sect forces a sense of abnormality. The Silver Moon sect master also felt this was strange and narrowed his eyes. "Mo Zhan, What are you really planning? Such kindness, to honestly hand over people. Sect Master Shan, this is where you're mistaken. Our Flowing Cloud sect is showing such sincerity, yet you still have doubts. If you and the others don't trust us, you might as well follow me up the mountain, and I will hand over the people to you, Emotion said earnestly. Hearing Emotion suggest they go up the mountain again, the Silver Moon sect master's mind shifted. Suddenly, he waved his hand. Since you're showing such sincerity, to doubt further would make us appear small-minded. However, there's no need to go up the mountain. Your sect is busy with many affairs, and we wouldn't want to disturb. If you, Sect Master Mo, just bring the people down the mountain. After we've apprehended the culprits, we'll naturally leave and stop disturbing your sect. If that's how it is, you fellow Taoists have come from far away and haven't even had a chance to drink our sect's wine. If the world came to know of this, wouldn't they laugh at our Flowing Cloud sect for being poor hosts? Please, fellow Taoists, come up the mountain. We've already prepared a feast to wash away the dust of travel, and we hope you won't disdain it. Indeed, there was a problem. Seeing Emotion repeatedly invite them up the mountain, the Silver Moon sect master felt even more that something was not right. He sneered, Sect Master Emo, your eagerness for us to go up the mountain. Could it be that your Flowing Cloud sect has set a trap, wishing to ensnare us all at once? Indeed, Sect Master Emo, could there be deceit in your plan? The martial artists from the various sect forces also began to smell something fishy and looked at Emotion with caution. Seeing that everyone was immovable, unwilling to go up the mountain, Emotion's smile finally faded. So it seems you really refuse to go up the mountain? It appears that Sect Master Mo indeed harbors ulterior motives. Seeing his demeanor, everyone understood. Sigh, I had hoped to save some effort, but since you refuse to appreciate the kindness, don't blame me. Emotion's face lost all traces of a smile, replaced by sheer indifference. Seeing him like this, the Silver Moon sect master's sense of alertness surged. Emotion, what do you intend? Emotion paid him no heed, instead bowing deeply with great respect towards the entrance of the tavern. I welcome the Supreme Elder. What? The Supreme Elder? Upon hearing this, everyone's hearts trembled violently. It was known that only a few individuals could be addressed as the Supreme Elder by Emotion, the sect master himself. Humph! I told you there's no need to waste that energy. Since the array has already been set up in town, why make the redundant move to lure them up the mountain? Do you think they could escape from the palm of my hand? Suddenly, a cold voice pierced the air, and a figure clad in a white robe appeared in the hall of the tavern. The old man had white hair and a white beard, eyes like that of a vulture, and a nose hooked like an eagle's, his visage exuding an aura of gloom. As soon as the eagle-nosed elder appeared, a powerful and chilling aura oppressed the entire room, making everyone feel inexplicably heavy. Even the Silver Moon sect master and the deputy palace master of the Palace of 100 Blossoms, who had already stepped into the Grandmaster realm, felt their bodies stiffen, finding it difficult to move. Innate pressure, an innate realm expert. The Silver Moon sect master gazed at the eagle-nosed elder, horror striking his heart. Quite capable to raise your head under my innate pressure. Worthy indeed of being the sect master of Silver Moon. Your will has been well cultivated. I suppose your divine soul power is about to take shape as well. The eagle-nosed elder seemed somewhat surprised, inadvertently offering praise. You must be the innate realm ancestor of the Flowing Cloud sect. The Holy Mountain has issued an order, forbidding innate realm experts from casually attacking martial artists below the innate level. Would you really go against the Holy Order? The Silver Moon sect master said with some difficulty. You think to use the Holy Order to pressure me? The eagle-nosed elder looked darkly at the Silver Moon sect master. With so many of you joining forces, bullying the Flowing Cloud sect, do you really think that merely a holy order is going to stop me from dealing with you? Elder, if you bully the weak, aren't you afraid that the innate realm ancestors of Silver Moon sect and the Palace of 100 Blossoms will also disregard the rules? Seeing that the eagle-nosed elder seemed intent on actually making a move against them, the The Silver Moon Sect Master had no choice but to invoke his own sect's innate realm ancestors. The eagle-nosed elder immediately hesitated. The Silver Moon Sect Master secretly breathed a sigh of relief. This was the advantage of a sect possessing an innate realm ancestor. An innate realm ancestor could truly be considered the deepest foundation of a sect. The peculiar aura of the innate realm enabled experts within this realm to sense each other over certain distances. And because breaking through to the innate realm involved the baptism of the heaven and earth rules, the majority of innate realm experts possess similar strengths in their physical bodies, innate true chi, and divine soul power. Therefore, among those in the innate realm, as long as the realm difference wasn't too great, it was almost impossible to defeat one another in single combat. Even if one couldn't win, they could also escape in advance. Once it became a pursuit, the variables became too many. The escaping party, having the initiative, had too many ways to shake off their pursuer. It was precisely because innate realm experts were difficult to kill that amongst the sects that possessed them, there tended to be an unspoken rule. That was, unless facing a crisis that could overturn their sect, innate realm experts would generally not involve themselves in common frictions between sects. Otherwise, if experts from both sides, disregarding martial morality, launched sneak attacks on the other's disciples, in the end, both sides' sects would likely suffer heavy losses among their disciples, ending up with nothing. The Silver Moon Sect Master was betting that the eagle-nosed elder wouldn't dare break this rule. Now, it seemed he was right. However, just as the Silver Moon Sect Master sighed in relief, he saw the eagle-nosed elder suddenly reveal a strange smile. "You must think that I will respect the rules and not dare to touch you, right? Now let me tell you, you're wrong. Today, you all must die here. Just two of the initial innate realm. After today, if those two old fools dare to come forward, I will eliminate them along with you." With that said, the eagle-nosed elder's hand produced a small flag, giving it a slight shake. In the next moment, an astonishing turn of events unfolded. Chapter 326, Human Purgatory, Flesh and Soul Refinement Array. As the elderly man with the hooked nose shook the blood-red flag in his hand, a strange power permeated the air. It completely paralyzed the Silver Moon Sect Master and his companions, making them utterly unable to move. "Elder, what do you intend to do?" The Silver Moon Sect Master looked at the blood-red flag, feeling a chill in his heart. His intuition told him that it was an extremely terrifying object. "You all will soon find out what I intend to do." The elderly man with the hooked nose, his expression growing increasingly strange, said with a smile. From the blood-red flag in his hand, a faint black aura began to emerge. At the same time, within Luyun town, certain peculiarly placed stone pillars began to tremble slightly, connected by an invisible force. Threads of black mist started to appear on the pillars and quickly spread throughout the town. "What is this?" On the streets, a townsman who saw the black mist floating towards him touched it out of curiosity. The next moment, he regretted his action deeply. His fingertips had barely touched the black mist when they began to melt away like a burning candle, followed by his palm and his wrist, quickly extending up his arm. Ah! Such excruciating pain was naturally more than an ordinary person could endure. The townsman let out a dreadful scream, fell to the ground, and rolled about frantically, trying to shake off the black mist. However, it was futile. The black mist, as if alive, clung to where it saw human blood and could not be shaken off. It not only clung tightly to the townsman's arm, but also slowly consumed his entire body. Boom! Such a horrifying scene naturally terrified the other pedestrians on the street. Everyone scattered, watching the townsman in terror, not understanding why he had suddenly become like this. Some tried to use brooms and cloths to disperse the black mist, but to no avail. The black mist seemed determined to stick to that townsman, clinging tightly to his body. The unbearable agony soon caused the townsman to pass out. Then, everyone just watched as he was slowly consumed and melted by the black mist. Before long, the entire person disappeared, leaving only his clothes and a pool of blood on the ground. After devouring a person, the black mist floated up again, its color deepening slightly, and moved toward the next person. Ah, run! Having seen the awful state of the man before, everyone understood how terrifying the strange black mist was. As it floated again, everyone screamed in terror and scattered in all directions. Those who were a bit slower to escape, touched by the black mist, screamed tragically. This time, however, no one dared stop to watch or help. They only cared about fleeing for their lives. Similar scenes occurred on the various streets of Luyun town. For a time, the town was filled with screams of terror, like a hell on earth. What's going on? At a distance of several miles away from Luyun town, on a hillside, Lu Qing was originally organizing tents with Ma Gu in the forest when suddenly, his expression changed. Without time to explain, his figure disappeared in place. With a few leaps, he climbed to the top of a nearby huge tree and looked down at Luyun town. At this view, his expression changed again. At that moment, Luyun town was enveloped by a thin grayish-colored array formation light screen. Through the fog, he could vaguely see people rolling on the ground, struggling and screaming. But strangely, not a sound escaped. Ah Qing, what has happened? I feel a surge of resentment coming from the town, said the elder doctor, appearing beside Lu Qing. Master, look. Lu Qing pointed ahead, and the elder doctor followed his gaze. The powerful vision granted by his innate body allowed him to clearly see the tragic state inside the town, as well as the gray light screen enveloping it. With a look of alarm, he asked, "What is that?" "It's an array, and a particularly malicious one from the demon path," Lu Qing said solemnly. Having inherited the knowledge of the Divine Talisman sect, he recognized at a glance that the gray light screen enveloping Luyun town was the result of some evil array. However, what he couldn't understand was why, with spiritual energy having only just begun to recover, someone could set up such an array. An array? A technique of the immortal Tao? The elder doctor's expression also changed. Ah Qing, do you have any way to break it? Although the elder doctor was already a martial artist of innate minor achievement, he did not understand these mystical techniques and could only hope that Lu Qing had a way. There are generally only two ways to counter an array, either breaking it with brute force or with cunning. Breaking it with brute force means using absolute power to shatter the array's defenses and destroy it. Breaking it with cunning means finding the operational nodes of the array and tampering with them. Once enough nodes are destroyed, the operation of the array cannot continue, and it naturally falls apart. Lu Qing quickly explained to his master. Which method can we use to break it? The elder doctor saw people in the town beginning to run towards the outside, but they were stopped by the light screen at the edge. In desperation, they tried to force their way through, but upon touching the light screen, the floating black mist dissolved and melted them, their expressions filled with agony. Disciple isn't sure, Lu Qing replied, his eyes still fixed on the light screen. Finally, as a faint purple superpower light appeared, a few words floated into his field of vision. Blood-melting gray light, a formation light screen induced by the evil array flesh-refining soul formation from the demon path, renowned for its strong defensive power, capable of dissolving flesh and blood. Chapter 327. The Flesh and Soul Refinement Array. A primary evil array inherited from the ancient immortal cultivation era, exceptionally vicious. Living creatures within the Flesh and Soul Refinement Array will have their chi blood, flesh, and bones melted by the power of the array, transformed into grievance to nourish the array flag. The Flesh and Soul Refinement Array contains a total of 18 array nodes, and if more than 9 nodes are destroyed, the array will cease to function and collapse on its own. This particular Flesh and Soul Refinement Array seems to be just a simplified version, the power of the array only capable of melting and refining creatures below the innate realm, far less powerful than the complete version. Looking at the information in his field of vision, Lu Qing finally breathed a sigh of relief. Although he still didn't know why an evil array from ancient times would appear in Luyun town, since it was only a simplified version of the Flesh and Soul Refinement Array, handling it would be much easier. Ah Qing, have you thought of a solution? The elder doctor had been paying close attention to Lu Qing's expression and, seeing it had relaxed quite a bit, immediately asked, "I've got some ideas, Master. We probably need to break this array quickly. If we delay much longer, I'm afraid everyone inside will die." "Then speak quickly, what should we do?" The elder doctor, looking at the disastrous scene in the town, urged anxiously. "Breaking the array isn't difficult, but whoever set up such an array must be no ordinary person. You'll probably have to deal with them when the time comes, Master." "This is naturally so." The elder doctor nodded, a trace of murderous intent flashing in his eyes. The situation in Luyun town below was too brutal, evoking a rare desire to fight in him who generally disliked violence. "Then, Master, let's discuss it on the way. I need to grab something from below. You go ahead first." Lu Qing nodded, his figure flickering, already descending the tree and heading into the carriage. When he reemerged, he was holding a longbow and a sword. "Young Master Lu, what happened? Where is Dr. Chun?" A chubby, middle-aged man approached and asked. He had seen Lu Qing's expression drastically change just now as he climbed to the top of the tree. Even the elder doctor went up, suggesting something unusual had happened. But now that Lu Qing had come down and the elder doctor was nowhere to be seen, he felt puzzled. Others also turned their gazes towards him. "There's trouble in Luyun town. My master and I need to go there. Senior Su, you all should stay here for now." Lu Qing briefly explained, then turned to Ma Gu and Wei Zian with a serious tone. "Elder Ma, Zian, you two stay here too and keep an eye on our luggage." "Understood, young master." Seeing the seriousness on Lu Qing's face, Ma Gu's heart chilled. He knew whatever was happening in Luyun town must be extraordinary. Otherwise, neither Lu Qing nor the elder doctor would be so grave. "All right, then Master and I will go ahead." Lu Qing sprang to his feet, his figure swiftly moving down the mountain. "Little Li, protect little Yen well. If anyone dares to harm her, they shall be killed without mercy." "Young Master Lu." The chubby middle-aged man saw Lu Qing leave abruptly and was about to call out to him, but was gently stopped by Ma Gu. "Senior Su, since my young master has urgent matters to attend to, please don't disturb him. We will just wait here." Ma Gu knew, with both Lu Qing and the elder doctor treating the matter so seriously, something very grave must have occurred in Luyun town. Their presence might not only be unhelpful but could also become an encumbrance. Seeing Ma Gu, who had always been very polite, suddenly become firm in his stance, the chubby middle-aged man was taken aback. However, he was not angry and even realized the gravity of the situation. Thinking back to how Lu Qing's expression had only turned serious after climbing to the top of the tree, he thought for a moment, his chi blood surged, and he also leapt up the tree. "What is that?" The chubby middle-aged man looked towards Luyun town and saw the gray barrier, crying out in alarm. Such a strange and mysterious scene he had never seen before. "And is that Dr. Chun and young Master Lu?" After the startled cry, the plump middle-aged man's attention was drawn to another matter. He saw two figures heading towards Luyun town. One of them, darting through the forest, was Lu Qing by the colors of his attire. The other figure was moving gracefully above the treetops, lightly tapping the tree crowns to cover a distance of more than 10 meters with each step, as if a celestial being. Who could it be if not Dr. Chun? Moving as if riding the wind, with such mysterious movement technique, could Dr. Chun possibly be? The plump, middle-aged man stared with wide eyes, murmuring to himself, "Master, this evil array is too extensive. Trying to break it by force with just the two of us may be inadequate, so we must rely on cunning to break it." In the forest, Lu Qing shouted while running and weaving. "When we reach the array, you attack the gray light screen with your sword chi first, allowing me to observe the flow of the array's power and locate the array nodes. Breaking these nodes will automatically disable the array." "All right." The elder doctor nodded in agreement. Gripping the long sword that Lu Qing had just handed him, his eyes sharp, the master and disciple rapidly approached Luyun town, and when they were less than a mile away, suddenly, they felt a powerful force rising into the sky. rushing towards Luyun Town at high speed. An innate realm expert? Both Lu Qing and the elder doctor were shocked, looking intently ahead. At this moment, they had cleared the forest, with few obstacles between them and Luyun Town. They saw clearly, in front of Luyun Town, a figure emitting a powerful aura, swinging his long sword and unleashing a red sword chi, which slashed towards the gray light screen. Just when it was about to hit, a blast of white strong energy suddenly burst from the light screen, colliding with the sword chi. Bang! The white strong energy and the red sword chi collided, setting off a massive explosion of chi force, but ultimately, it only made the gray light screen shake a few times without any damage. Yan Tianhua, you really were hiding in the shadows, following the disciples of the Silver Moon sect. As the chi force dissipated, a figure in a black robe holding a long staff stepped out from the gray light screen, looking at the sword-wielding man and coldly laughed. Mo Hu, I should have known it was you. The sword-wielding man's face darkened upon seeing the black-robed figure. Another innate realm. Lu Qing and the elder doctor felt another jolt of surprise. Indeed, it is I, the black-robed figure proudly declared. Mo Hu, how dare your Flowing Cloud sect set up such a malicious demon path array here, harming your fellow sect members? Aren't you afraid of the Holy Mountain descending punishment and completely annihilating your Flowing Cloud sect? The sword-wielding man shouted sternly. Holy Mountain? However, upon hearing this, the black-robed figure laughed uproariously, as if he had heard the joke of the century. Now that the changes in heaven and earth have arrived, all the major sects are seizing opportunities for their own gain, and the demon path is eager to reign over the 9 states once again. Just in Central State alone, the Holy Mountain is already stretched thin, let alone having the capacity to deal with the issues in Yunzhou. Moreover, after today, my brother and I will have undergone rebirth, significantly increasing our strength. By then, even the Holy Mountain will not be able to do anything to us. You and your brother are indeed madmen, using evil techniques for power enhancement, harming living creatures, and even not sparing your own disciples, utterly heartless and insane. The sword-wielding man grimaced. Enough of your nonsense. In this world, nothing is true except for strength. Yan Tianhua, your arrival is timely. I thought I might only harvest the chi blood souls of postnatal realm this time around. Unexpectedly, I also have the chance to obtain the soul of an innate realm. If I can refine you, our magical treasure's power will surely increase greatly. As the black-robed figure swung his long staff, he charged directly at the sword-wielding man. What? As the long staff came crashing down, the sword-wielding man parried with his sword, but his face turned pale the next moment. He felt the force of the staff overwhelming like a landslide. With his strength, he was completely unable to resist and was directly blown away. Chapter 328 Break Formation, the terrifying arrow skill of Lu Qing. The sword-wielding man was blasted away by the dark-robed figure with a staff, staggering backward for dozens of meters before he stabilized himself. Looking ahead, his face showed an expression of incredulity. Your realm clearly hasn't broken through, still at the innate minor achievement, so why is your strength so immense? Ha ha ha, this is the power of the array. But to a frog at the bottom of a well like you, who lacks vision, the mysteries within are unimaginable. Yan Tianhua, today is the day you die. After I kill you, I'll flatten your Silver Moon sect and the Palace of 100 Blossoms, and then my Flowing Cloud sect will be able to take control of the entire Yunzhou. The dark-robed figure laughed heartily, his staff vibrating as he struck at the sword-wielding man once more. Feeling the overwhelming force emanating from his opponent, the sword-wielding man's heart sank. He knew it was now impossible for him to break the array on his own. Worse still, he feared he might even lose his own life here. Yet, the thought of retreating was something he could not bear. The many elite disciples and the sect master within his sect, as well as numerous fellow cultivators from Yunzhou trapped in the array, if he were to leave now, he feared they would all perish inside. Damn it, that old woman from the Palace of 100 Blossoms is too afraid of death, reluctant to leave the sect. Otherwise, with our combined forces, how could we not break this evil formation? The sword-wielding man cursed inwardly, facing the dark-robed figure's offensive. He clenched his teeth as his innate true chi began to stimulate his acupoints, and his aura surged dramatically. With a sweeping sword strike, he blocked the staff, yet his own body didn't retreat an inch. Incredibly, he matched the dark-robed figure blow for blow. "Oh? You've resorted to an explosive secret technique." The dark-robed figure chuckled lightly. "But I have the sustaining power of the array, an endless supply. How long can your innate true chi last against that?" "As long as it takes to defeat you. Enough talk. Come on." The sword-wielding man replied coldly. "Very well. Once I have you under my foot, let's see how tough you can talk then," the dark-robed figure said with a light laugh, not even using a burst secret technique, relying solely on the power bestowed by the array to fight once more. He intended to toy with his adversary like a cat with a mouse, grinding down his old rival slowly. "Master, have you noticed anything?" Hidden behind a rock and watching the battle, Lu Qing asked the elder doctor beside him. Despite being not far away, both had unique methods of concealing their aura, which astonishingly kept them hidden from both the dark-robed figure and the sword-wielding man, two experts in the innate realm. Both of these innate realm fighters are at the stage of innate minor achievement, but that black-robed man, with the amplifying force of the array behind him, has greatly increased his strength. The sword-wielding innate realm man, although currently managing to resist with an explosive secret technique, will likely meet defeat before long. The elder doctor said gravely. "Disciple thinks the same, master. The black-robed man must be guarding the array to prevent others from damaging it. It seems that the Flowing Cloud sect has big plans involving the array. We must break it soon," Lu Qing said. Due to the obstructing force of the array, Lu Qing and the elder doctor could not perceive the situation within clearly. They were unable to figure out what exactly Flowing Cloud sect was planning with this malevolent formation. "So what shall we do now?" the elder doctor asked, nodding. "That black-robed man has the support of the array's power and is hard to deal with. We should work together. If we can take him out directly, then breaking the array will be much easier." Lu Qing had already used his superpower to ascertain the identities of the two opponents. The sword-wielding man was the supreme elder of Silver Moon sect, and the black-robed man was the supreme elder of Flowing Cloud sect, who was also the great-grandfather of Mo Xian, whom he had trampled to death. Given this, there was even less reason to show mercy in the face of such an adversary. "Good." The elder doctor agreed to the proposal without hesitation. He did not possess the arrogant pride of a martial artist that disdained a sneak attack. Being a doctor, his priority was always to save lives foremost, and the man before them had evidently fallen to the demon path. It would be best to eliminate him directly. With agreement reached, the master-student duo hesitated no longer. The elder doctor's sword quietly unsheathed, and a bright white sword chi flickered, sharp beyond compare. Next to him, Lu Qing also drew 3 sharp arrows from the quiver on his back and set them on the bow. He wasn't yet in the innate realm and couldn't use sword chi or sword chi, so he resorted to an arrow ambush instead. After a half-breath of preparation, the elder doctor flicked his wrist, and a dazzling white sword chi suddenly flew out, tearing through the air, and within an instant, it crossed several dozen meters and slashed toward the dark-robed figure. At the same moment, the longbow in Lu Qing's hand released a cracking sound, as the 3,000 refinement level arrows vanished, piercing the air and shooting towards the head, chest, and abdomen of the dark-robed figure's vital areas. "What?" The dark-robed figure, who had been tormenting the sword-wielding man with an ease of mind, had not anticipated this sudden change, and his eyes widened in shock. Although he wanted to defend himself, the ability of Lu Qing and the elder doctor to hide their presence was just too cunning. With their preemptive strike, there was no sign or warning. By the time the dark-robed figure realized it, it was already too late for any reaction. Just as he was about to be struck down in a joint ambush by Lu Qing and the elder doctor, in the nick of time, a surge of dark energy suddenly billowed out from the dark-robed figure. Boom! Lu Qing's 3 arrows and the elder doctor's sword chi struck the dark-robed figure without deviation, blasting away the dark energy around him and sending him flying backwards, spilling a stream of blood. Chapter 329. Ack! Who dares ambush me? The figure in the black robe flipped in the air, taking advantage of the momentum to retreat, and directly entered a gray light screen, furious and shocked. His appearance now was indeed miserable. Between his chest and abdomen, a ghastly wound that slanted across, deep enough to see the bone, and even internal organs were faintly visible, nearly splitting him in two. On his forehead, chest, and abdomen, 3 long arrows were stuck as well, though they had not penetrated deeply and failed to pin him completely. He's still not dead? Lu Qing was surprised. The 3 arrows he had just shot, although hurried and not full strength, were not easily deflected by someone of ordinary innate body. He didn't expect them to be blocked so effortlessly. Moreover, even his master's sword chi had not been able to finish him off, indicating that the array's power was stronger than he had imagined. This sudden turn of events also greatly surprised the swordsman. But upon seeing the miserable state of the figure in the black robe, he couldn't help but feel joy. Which fellow Taoist has extended their righteous hand? Is it you? Who are you? Lu Qing and the elder doctor had taken action, naturally revealing themselves, and were immediately discovered by the figure in the black robe and the swordsman. Upon seeing this, both were shocked once again. They never expected that those who struck would be a young man and an elder. More importantly, they could not see through the cultivation realm of Lu Qing and the elder doctor. Who are we? Just passers-by who could not stand idly by. Lu Qing spoke out loud. Flowing Cloud sect set up a demon formation, wreaking havoc on Yunzhou's righteous path. This act incurs the wrath of heaven and the people, and all should be condemned. Well said, young friend, the swordsman exclaimed loudly. Both of you, please join hands with me to break this demon formation and rescue the colleagues from Yunzhou inside. Want to save people? Pure delusion. Let's see how you save them. The figure in the black robe sneered coldly, pulled out the 3 arrows nailed to his body, and threw them to the ground. Immediately, black energy emerged from within his body, and the wounds on his body began to slowly wriggle and heal. The power of the array even had healing effects. However, even though his wounds were healing slowly, the figure in the black robe dared not step out of the gray light screen. The previous attack by Lu Qing and the elder doctor was an ambush, yet incredibly powerful. Especially the white sword chi, which was so sharp it almost cleaved him in two. If not for the array's power protecting his body, he would have almost died on the spot. He had come to know that the elder, whose cultivation realm he could not fathom, was far above him. If he were to step out, even with the power of the array to support him, he probably wouldn't be a match for him. When did such a terrifying powerhouse come to Yunzhou? The figure in the black robe thought, feeling the situation slipping out of control. Master, take action. Lu Qing didn't waste any more words, giving the command directly. The elder doctor nodded, silent and wordless. The long sword in his hand trembled, and the next moment, dozens of streams of sword chi shot forward like a school of fish. How is this possible? As he watched the onslaught of innate sword energy coming at him like a torrential downpour, dread filled the figure in the black robe. Suddenly, an array flag appeared in his hand, into which he fiercely poured his divine soul power. With the array flag activated, a massive amount of black energy quickly gathered in front of the figure in the black robe. The originally gray light screen instantly turned shiny black. A series of muffled sounds erupted. The elder doctor's sword chi, simple and unadorned, all bombarded onto the light screen. The light screen vibrated continuously, creating waves and scattering the black energy. Regrettably, by the time the last trace of sword chi vanished, the black energy on the light screen, although dispersed by a great deal, held firm and was not broken through. I finally blocked it. The figure in the black robe sighed with relief, cold sweat forming on his forehead. However, he felt no ease in his heart. Just from that one exchange, 1/5 of his divine soul power had been depleted. If the elder could continue to unleash such ferocious sword chi, He feared that his divine soul power would be exhausted before the array could be breached. Having no choice, he began to transmit his voice secretly. "Senior brother, are you done on your end? A thorn in our side has appeared. I can't hold on much longer. It'll be ready soon. Just hold out for half a quarter hour more." A voice responded in his mind. Half a quarter hour? A heaviness settled in the heart of the figure in the black robe. But he also knew that things had reached a point of no return. If their plan failed this time, he and his fellow disciples would probably have no choice but to flee for their lives. "Forget it. Let's give it our all. That old man is so old. The attack he just launched might not be able to be sustained several times," thought the figure in the black robe, gritting his teeth. "The darkness in this light screen was actually able to neutralize my sword chi." The elder doctor was slightly startled. He could feel that even though his sword chi had scattered the black mist, it had also been greatly depleted, allowing the light screen to withstand the attack. Indeed, the ways of the array were mysteriously powerful. "Master, continue. He is using the array flag to manipulate the array's power, concentrating it in one spot to fend off your attack. This way, the defensive power of the light screen in other areas will be greatly reduced." Lu Qing's eyes were closed as his powerful divine soul-sensing ability enveloped the entire Luyun town, minutely scanning the operation of the entire array. "This kid knows about arrays too?" The black-robed figure was shocked, but he no longer had time for surprise, as the elder doctor launched another barrage of sword chi that was as relentless as a storm. "Elder, I shall assist you." The swordsman standing by, although also shocked by the elder doctor's terrifying sword chi, knew that what mattered most was destroying the array. He immediately swung his sword, sending several sword chi blasts toward the light screen. The black-robed figure waved the array flag, gathering the black mist again. Boom! The loud sound of a violent collision echoed as the light screen shook once more. "It's right there." At that moment, Lu Qing's tightly closed eyes suddenly opened. With a swift movement, he drew an arrow from the quiver on his back, notched it against the string of the longbow, and, pulling the bowstring taut like a full moon, he fired diagonally into the sky. Ever since Lu Qing had revealed the secret of manipulating the array's power, the black-robed figure had been keeping an eye on him. When he saw Lu Qing draw the bow, his guard went up, preparing for another sneak attack. Unexpectedly, Lu Qing shot the arrow into the sky, which caused the black-robed figure to breathe a sigh of relief and even scoff. "Kid, your arrow technique is really quite poor. You should go back and practice some more." However, before the black-robed figure could finish ridiculing him, a loud boom rose from behind him in Luyun town. He jolted violently and immediately felt the speed of his array manipulation slow by a fraction. His heart and spirit plunged into the array flag to investigate, and he immediately realized the reason. Disbelieving, he looked toward Lu Qing. "You can actually sense the formation nodes of the demon formation?" Lu Qing waved the longbow in his hand and grinned. "While you were using the array's power to resist the attacks of my master and that elder, the other array formation light screens couldn't stop my arrows." As it turned out, Lu Qing's action of shooting an arrow into the sky had been a deliberate one, using a throwing skill to destroy one of the array's nodes in Luyun town. "Master Elder, continue the attack. After I destroy 8 more nodes, the array will break." Lu Qing drew another long arrow from his arrow quiver. Upon hearing this, both the elder doctor and the swordsman immediately reactivated their sword chi. Especially the swordsman, seeing that Lu Qing actually had a way to break formation, fought more vigorously, unleashing his full might and executing more than a dozen sword chi strikes. "Damn it!" As the black-robed figure fumed with anger, he was rendered completely helpless against the attacks of the elder doctor. He could only continue to manipulate the array's power in defense. As the black mist gathered again, Lu Qing fired another arrow, and without fail, another resounding blast followed as yet another array node was destroyed by him. Why is this kid's arrow skill so formidable? The black-robed figure was filled with astonishment and anger, realizing that Lu Qing's success wasn't just a fluke, but a true ability to destroy the array. He was also amazed by Lu Qing's arrow skill. Luyun Town was not exactly small, and the second node that had just been destroyed was a full distance away from where they stood. To be able to precisely hit an array node a mile away, through the influence of the array's power and the obstructions created by numerous buildings, was truly astounding. Even the black-robed figure had never heard of such arrow skill. "We're in trouble." He understood that they were truly doomed now. Chapter 330. Formation broken. Blood Soul Banner. The Elder Doctor's killing will. Dr. Chun is indeed an innate realm expert, and there are even 2 more innate realm experts over there. Standing atop a tree in a forest several miles away from Luyun Town, the rotund middle-aged man was utterly shocked as he witnessed the Elder Doctor effortlessly unleashing vast swathes of sword chi. How could he not know that the Elder Doctor, whom he had failed to see through these past days, was actually a true innate realm expert? Dr. Chun and young Master Lu seem to be trying to break through that strange light screen. I wonder if they can succeed. Due to the distance, the rotund middle-aged man couldn't hear the conversation between Lu Qing and the others. But he finally understood why Lu Qing had previously forbidden him from coming along to help. Battles involving innate realm levels were indeed not something a minor internal organ realm could meddle in. Let alone the internal organ realm, even if a martial arts grandmaster went up, it would only mean certain death. However, what realm is young Master Lu in after all? He hasn't utilized innate true chi, so it's evident he's not at the innate realm. But since when can postnatal realm martial artists confront an innate realm expert? The rotund middle-aged man was puzzled by another question. He felt that Lu Qing was even more mysterious. While the rotund middle-aged man was in awe and shock, the black-robed figure standing within the array was having a tough time. He hadn't expected that Lu Qing, a greenhorn, would have an understanding of arrays. Moreover, he had destroyed 2 of the town's array nodes in one fell swoop. He had never anticipated such a turn of events. Junior brother, why have 2 of the array's nodes been destroyed? What happened? Just as the black-robed figure felt at an impasse, a voice arose within his mind. Senior brother, things have turned dire. Someone on their side understands arrays, and they are working together to break formation. Alone, I'm afraid I can't hold them back. The black-robed figure swiftly replied. If you can't hold them back, you must, because with the nodes destroyed, my progress here is affected too. Now I need a quarter of an hour to finish. If you want me to help you deduce the whereabouts of your great-grandson's killer, you must help me repair the Blood Soul Banner. Hang in there a bit longer. After this sentence, the voice disappeared. Senior brother, the black-robed figure quickly called out. However, this time, the senior brother didn't respond to him. Evidently, the affairs in the town had reached a critical moment. It's easy to say, but how am I supposed to stop them? The black-robed figure felt bitter in his heart. The old man opposite was too terrifying with his sword chi. Every time he made a move, the black-robed figure had to use all his strength to mobilize the array's power for defense. But by doing so, the light screen's defense at other positions would invariably weaken, unable to stop the terrifying arrows of the youth. It was an unsolvable situation. He had no answers. Now, his only hope was that the old man could not maintain that terrifying sword chi tied indefinitely, or else it wouldn't take long for the array to be surely broken. With such expectation, the black-robed figure still clenched his teeth and persevered. However, what he didn't expect was that the Elder Doctor's true chi was far more profound than he could imagine. In the following moments, waves of sword chi tide swept over the gray light screen. After every attack, Lu Qing would destroy an array node. Before long, 9 nodes had been demolished. With 9 nodes destroyed, the gray light screen dimmed significantly and teetered on the brink of collapse. Master, Senior, for the final hit, this array has a total of 18 nodes. Now that 9 have been broken, just destroying 1 more will inevitably break it. Lu Qing drew out another long arrow. The Elder Doctor and the sword-wielding man, naturally seeing the almost dim light screen, didn't hesitate and directly urged their sword chi forward once more. Not good. Seeing this, the black-robed figure knew it was too late. Decisively, he waved the array flag, mobilizing the array's power for the last time to converge in front of him. At the same time, he retreated rapidly towards the town with a tap of his feet. Boom! As the black-robed figure retreated, the sword chi collided with the light screen once again. Seizing the moment, Lu Qing shot an arrow, destroying the 10th array node. With the node gone, the light screen, already at its limit, could no longer hold up. It was slashed apart by the remaining sword chi, slowly fading away. Unfortunately, by being obstructed by the light screen for a moment, the black-robed figure had already infiltrated the town and disappeared from sight. Did we really break the array? The sword-wielding man rejoiced at the sight. Crash, crash, crash. As the gray light screen vanished, Lu Qing didn't stop. With a flurry of arrows, he fired 8 more, completely destroying the remaining 8 array nodes before stopping. Although superpower exploration revealed that destroying more than 9 array nodes would break the flesh-refining soul array, he still didn't feel assured and decided to destroy all the nodes. After all, he had plenty of 1000 refinement-level arrows. In these 2 years, he mostly spent his time in seclusion in the village. But occasionally he would visit the county. Especially after acquiring the treasure bow, he specifically stayed in Zhu Exian workshop for a while, creating over 1,000 refinement-level arrows, at one point exhausting Zhu Exian workshop stock of refined iron. All array nodes have been destroyed. The black-robed figure fleeing sensed through the array flag that all nodes of the array in the town had been utterly demolished, and the flesh-refining soul array was thoroughly broken. Chapter 331. This elder and youth, who on earth are they? The old man's innate true chi is so vigorous it's abnormal. His cultivation is unfathomably deep, and that youngster seems to have an unparalleled understanding of the flesh and soul refining array, even clearly aware of all 18 nodal points within the array. It's truly preposterous. The figure in the black robe was heartbroken, yet filled with immense confusion. The flesh and soul refining array was a scheme they, as young disciples, had discovered in a mysterious cave during an adventure. In order to set up this array, they had spent years studying the array map while also driving the disciples of their sect to loot and scavenge materials for the array. After decades of research and setup, they barely managed to establish 2 arrays. Yet, to their dismay, the first use resulted in one being destroyed, which pained him deeply. Most importantly, the array was a result of their brother's great effort. How could that youngster know the method to break it? Consumed by immense doubt, the figure in the black robe quickly flew toward the direction of the tavern. The old man's strength was too terrifying. He had sustained a heavy injury from a blast of sword chi and, although the array's power helped him heal, he had not fully recovered. At this moment, only by joining forces with his brother could they possibly withstand that old man. Who dares to destroy my array? However, before the figure in the black robe could reach the tavern, a furious and violent aura suddenly surged from ahead, angrily shouting, "Brother!" The figure in the black robe hastened into the tavern, only to be stunned by the scene inside. Inside the tavern, many people had fallen. Nearly half of them had been turned into dry corpses, and the situation of the other half was not much better. Their bodies were shriveled, they looked withered, pale, and as if they had aged 10 years, a truly horrifying sight. Most crucially, among those who had turned into dry corpses, he saw disciples from their flowing cloud sect. "Grandfather, are you injured?" Emotion saw the mottled bloodstains and not fully healed wounds on the figure in the black robe and exclaimed in shock. His grandfather, an expert of the innate realm, had been wounded so severely. What on earth had happened outside the town? Due to the array's interference, aside from the hooked-nosed elder in the town, no one else knew what had happened outside. Another innate realm. Among the survivors was the sect master of the Silver Moon sect. At this moment, he looked pitiful, his chi blood drained by more than half due to the hooked-nosed elder's use of an evil technique. Because the array's obstruction and his full concentration on resisting the hooked-nosed elder's chi blood absorption, he too had not noticed the events outside the town. Seeing the figure in the black robe enter and sensing his aura, those survivors felt unparalleled despair. One hooked-nosed elder had already tormented them so, and now another innate realm expert had arrived, even addressing the hooked-nosed elder as brother. Could it truly be that they were all going to die here? Sect Master, where on earth are you? The face of the Silver Moon Sect Master turned ash-gray. Little brother, what are you even doing? I was about to completely refine and absorb the chi blood and souls into the Blood Soul banner, just on the verge of success, and yet you let someone break the array. The hooked-nosed elder's expression was icily grim. Brother, it's not my fault. The people who came were too strong, and they seemed to have an extraordinary understanding of the flesh and soul refining array. They had the nodes at their fingertips and destroyed them in an instant. I simply couldn't stop them, the figure in the black robe lamented. How is that possible? The hooked-nosed elder was shocked upon hearing this. The flesh and soul refining array was something you and I comprehended over decades. Aside from us, there should be no third person who understands it. How could someone so easily crack it? I am utterly baffled by this too, and moreover, the one who broke the array is just a youth. I've never seen him before. The figure in the black robe said puzzledly. Right, brother, they might have already entered the town. Inside there is an old man whose cultivation is extremely deep. Even with the power of the array to protect my body, I was injured by his single sword strike. Perhaps it's better if we retreat. What retreat? Destroying the array I've worked so hard to set up. I want to see who is so audacious and courting death. The hooked-nosed elder snorted coldly, his face stern. Just right. My Blood Soul banner still lacks an innate realm main soul. It's time to use them for the ritual. Brother, the Blood Soul banner can be used? The figure in the black robe exclaimed joyfully. Although the array was broken and couldn't be fully repaired, much of its power has been restored. Moreover, now that the spiritual energy is returning, it's time to let the world witness the power of this ancient magical treasure. Now that the Blood Soul banner can be used, we no longer have to fear those people. Hearing that the Blood Soul banner could be activated, the figure in the black robe also regained his confidence instantly. Back then, he had discovered that cave dwelling with his senior brother, and naturally knew just how formidable the Blood Soul banner was. Even that old man wouldn't possibly be a match for this ancient magical treasure. Let's go. I've already sensed the location of the newcomers. Let's meet them now. The eagle-nosed elder spoke coldly and headed towards the exit of the tavern. Supreme Elder, Grandfather, what should be done with these people? Seeing the eagle-nosed elder and grandfather getting ready to leave, Emotion hurriedly asked. The surviving members of the Silver Moon sect, upon hearing this, immediately shuddered, looking at the eagle-nosed elder with apprehension. They had heard the conversation between the two innate realm experts just now, and it seemed that some mysterious master was approaching to rescue them. Just as hope kindled in their hearts, was it going to be extinguished so soon? Keep these people for now. Their chi and blood power is still of use to me. Just watch over them here. They're already half-crippled and can't stir up any trouble. The eagle-nosed elder glanced at the Silver Moon sect master and the others with a cold look, as if they were mere livestock, not regarding them as human beings at all. Yes, Supreme Elder. Though Emotion was reluctant, he could only respond respectfully. Meanwhile, on the streets of Flowing Cloud sect, Lu Qing and his two companions were looking at the traces of blood on the street with somber expressions. They all knew that each trace of blood represented a life lost. Fortunately, they could sense that many townspeople were still alive. The black chi that had been stimulated by the array, while it could corrode and devour the flesh and bodies of people, seemed to have little power against inanimate objects like bricks, stones, and wood. Many townsfolk had managed to temporarily avoid disaster by hiding inside the buildings. These two brothers, Mo, who truly have lost all humanity. Many of the townspeople of Liyuntown have kinship with their sect disciples, and yet they could still bear to commit such acts, truly evil demons. The swordsman, upon seeing the tragic scene on the street, spoke with hatred. Although he didn't like the Flowing Cloud sect, he didn't expect that the two brothers could be so cruel and vicious. Master, there's someone coming. At this moment, Lu Qing spoke softly. The elder doctor nodded, his expression stern. Lu Qing knew his master was truly angry. The cruel methods of the Flowing Cloud sect had truly roused the killing intent in this kind old man. Ah! The swordsman was about to ask a question as he hadn't sensed anything. But then he heard a wild laugh ahead, and two figures appeared on the rooftop, their powerful aura spreading out. Who could it be if not the brothers Mo Hu? The swordsman looked at Lu Qing in amazement. He felt that this young man was truly mysterious. He, an innate realm expert, hadn't been able to sense the presence of the Mo Hu brothers, yet Lu Qing had managed to detect them. What was more crucial was that he found he couldn't even see through Lu Qing's cultivation realm. Could it be that this youth's cultivation realm was even higher than his own? An absurd thought suddenly sprang up in the swordsman's mind. You too? Are you the supreme elders of the Flowing Cloud sect? The elder doctor raised his head, looking at the two figures on the rooftop. Indeed, old man, it was you who destroyed the array I had painstakingly set up, right? Do you know that you've committed a heinous crime? The eagle-nosed elder spoke coldly. As long as we haven't got the wrong person, then it's good, the elder doctor said softly. The eagle-nosed elder was taken aback, about to say something, but he felt a blur before his eyes as two incredibly sharp sword chi were already slashing towards him and his junior brother. The unparalleled sharpness of the sword intent on the sword chi made him feel an immense danger in an instant. Chapter 332, Bloodlight Domain, the Power of One Punch. Not good. Feeling the piercing sharpness of the elder doctor's sword chi, the hawk-nosed elder was greatly alarmed. The sword chi came too swiftly and unexpectedly, leaving him no time to react. He could only watch helplessly as the sword chi slashed towards his body. Fortunately, at the critical moment, a burst of red light emerged from his body to meet the sword chi. With a muffled sound, the red light scattered, but it ultimately blocked the sword chi, leaving only a shallow wound on his body before dissipating. Ah! However, while the hawk-nosed elder had a magical treasure for protection, the figure in the black robe beside him was not so lucky. The elder doctor's sword chi was incomparably sharp, and despite being on guard, he failed to dodge it completely. As the sword chi swept by, an arm from the figure in the black robe fell off. Junior brother, how are you? The hawk-nosed elder swiftly pressed his hand to seal the acupoints on the black-robed figure's severed arm, stopping the blood flow. My hand! The figure in the black robe looked at his severed hand, his eyes filled with rage. He had not expected that even with utmost caution, he would still fail to avoid the old man's sword chi and lose an arm. One should know that while the innate realm was powerful, it lacked the ability to regenerate lost limbs. The loss of an arm meant that he would be disabled for the rest of his life. Don't worry, after we kill them all, I'll help you reattach the arm, said the hawk-nosed elder. Lu Qing's expression shifted slightly upon seeing the bloodlight that emerged from the hawk-nosed elder, capable of blocking his master's long-prepared sword chi. At that moment, several lines of text also appeared in his vision. Wu Yuan, Supreme Grand Elder of the Flowing Cloud sect, ruthless, extremely selfish and cruel. Cultivation, innate realm early stage, only a hair's breadth away from great success, water-based innate true chi. Once, alongside his junior brother, discovered the lair of an ancient evil cultivator and obtained a legacy of evil skills. Possesses a damaged magical treasure left from ancient times, the Blood Soul Banner. Blood Soul Banner? Seeing the information that emerged around the hawk-nosed elder, Lu Qing felt a tinge of shock. This old guy actually had a magical treasure at his disposal, and it seemed to be operable. No wonder he was able to block his master's sword chi. It remained to be seen how much power he could exert from that magical treasure. However, this also explained why the Flowing Cloud sect was capable of setting up the flesh and soul refining array. It turned out they had obtained the legacy of an ancient evil cultivator. Such formidable sword chi. After briefly treating his junior brother's injuries, the hawk-nosed elder regarded the elder doctor with no more contempt, but with full wariness. Although his junior brother had warned him about an old man among the arrivals whose mastery of the sword Dao and sword Qi was astonishing, He hadn't taken it too seriously. But the elder doctor's strike just now made him realize that the old man's swordsmanship indeed reached an extremely profound realm. Had it not been for the automatic protection of the Blood Soul banner, he might have been seriously injured by that one strike. Master, this person seems to have some kind of magical treasure on him. Please be careful. Lu Qing whispered a reminder. MHM, the elder doctor nodded lightly. He too felt a sudden trepidation when the red light appeared, as if it were something extremely malevolent that sent chills down one's spine. However, because the elder doctor did not use his innate domain to shield it, Lu Qing's words were overheard by the hawk-nosed elder. His eyes narrowed as he stared intently at Lu Qing. You brat, you seem to know quite a bit. It was also you who destroyed the array nodes of my carefully laid array with your bow and arrows, wasn't it? Who exactly are you? However, Lu Qing ignored his words and turned to the sword-wielding man. Elder, next, my master and I will hold these two back. You should go rescue the surviving comrades from Yunzhou. I go to rescue? The sword-wielding man was taken aback. Young master, wouldn't it be better for me to join your respected master in fighting these demons? You should go rescue them. It wasn't that the sword-wielding man looked down on Lu Qing. But after all, Lu Qing was still too young, and the adversaries were two determined innate realm early-stage powerhouses. Moreover, the Mo brother duo clearly obtained some unknown evil skills, greatly augmenting their cultivation. Even he could not be certain of victory against them. It's all right, a half-disabled innate realm will not trouble me. Please go ahead without worry, elder. Being a stranger, if I go to the rescue, our Yunzhou elders may not trust me, which could cause unnecessary complications. It's better for you to go, explained Lu Qing. The sword-wielding man thought about it and also realized Lu Qing had a point. If the roles were reversed, he would find it hard to believe if a young stranger suddenly appeared in a perilous situation claiming to rescue him. But the thought of Lu Qing fighting Mo who caused the sword-wielding man to hesitate. Don't worry about it. Let's settle on that. Elder, watch for the right moment to break through. Lu Qing cut off his words. Fine, fine, fine. The hawk-nosed elder on the rooftop, seeing Lu Qing not only ignoring his questions but also discussing how to break through and rescue others right in front of them, was so enraged that he laughed. The figure in the black robe trembled with anger. Lu Qing's words were a blatant show of utter disregard. What did they mean by a half-disabled person? It was as if he was being slapped in the face. He decided that he would personally sever the limbs of this youngster one by one, making him realize what it meant to be truly disabled. Elder, prepare to break through. Chapter 333. Lu Qing sensed the fluctuations in the minds of the two with hooked noses and immediately let out a loud shout. He was the first to grab a long arrow from behind and rapid-fire 7 sharp arrows in a mysterious trajectory, interlinked with each other, aiming for the elder with the hooked nose. The arrow skill secret technique, 7 stars in a row. This was a technique Lu Qing created after comprehending the realm of will. It was incredibly powerful and ranked as one of his strongest arrow skills to date. After their cooperative effort to break formation, the swordsman had come to trust Lu Qing quite a bit. Hearing his loud shout, he reacted instantly, his figure shooting towards the highest building in the town. His divine soul sensing from the innate realm had already informed him that the disciples and sect master were there. Trivial tricks. Besides, do you think you can escape? The elder with the hooked nose was surprised by the power of the arrow shot by Lu Qing, but showed a hint of disdain on his face. Blood light emerged from his body and rolled forward, attempting to destroy the 7 sharp arrows. At the same time, with a flick of his hand, a streak of blood light flew towards the swordsman. Seeing this, a slight smile appeared on Lu Qing's face. My arrow skills are not so easily broken. With a subtle shift in his heart and spirit, the 7 arrows that were about to be engulfed by the red light suddenly collided with each other tail to point, as if they were sentient, changing their original trajectory. They traced mysterious arcs, bypassing the elder with the hooked nose, and pounced towards the figure in the black robe. Lu Qing's target was not the elder with the hooked nose, who was protected by a magical treasure, but the figure in the black robe who had lost an arm and whose primordial chi had not yet recovered. What? The figure in the black robe, standing several steps behind the elder with the hooked nose, suddenly startled. He had not expected Lu Qing's arrows to bypass his senior brother and appear in front of him. However, he was a strong practitioner at the innate realm early stage after all. Even though he was severely injured, his reactions were still quick. The long staff in his hand instantly danced into a blur, shielding his entire body. Amid the black light, the sound of clinking resonated as the long arrows shot by Lu Qing were deflected one after another. However, the figure in the black robe had lost an arm, and in his haste, wielding the staff with one hand, he was not as effective as with both. Although he deflected 6 arrows, one still pierced through the shadow of his staff, grazing his shoulder and drawing a strand of beads of blood. Simultaneously, the blood light that the elder with the hooked nose shot towards the swordsman was extinguished by a streak of sword chi from the elder doctor. Young master's arrow skill is truly divine. Although the swordsman was breaking through, he was also paying attention to the situation behind him. Seeing that Lu Qing had actually wounded Mo Hu, he couldn't help but be astonished. However, young master practices the way of the bow and arrow, strong in long-range attacks but vulnerable in close combat. Once Mo Hu gets close, it will still be dangerous. I must rescue the people quickly and then lend him a hand. The swordsman's gaze was firm as he pushed his movement technique to its limits, speeding towards the tavern. Zhan'er, retreat quickly. Seeing that his senior brother's bloodlight had failed to stop the swordsman, the figure in the black robe's expression changed, immediately crying out loud, his voice resonating throughout the town. Brat, you've truly enraged me. The elder with the hooked nose, now fully darkened in complexion, saw he had been played by Lu Qing. I originally wanted to have a good time with you, but now all of you can die. Suddenly, a blood-red long banner sprang out from his body, rapidly enlarging and landing in his hands. Thump! With the blood soul banner in hand, the elder with the hooked nose landed on the ground, plunging it forcefully at his feet. A heavy, muffled sound rang out, and thick blood light burst forth from the blood soul banner, rapidly expanding in all 8 directions, sweeping over Lu Qing and his master. The speed was so fast that even Lu Qing was surprised. Ah, Qing, retreat! The elder doctor exclaimed as he reached for Lu Qing's shoulder and threw him outward. Caught off guard, Lu Qing could only somersault in the air to borrow momentum. By the time he landed, he found the area in front of him enveloped in a swath of blood light. It was so wide it reached 100 meters. He stood at the edge of the blood light, while his master had already been engulfed by it. Master! Lu Qing couldn't help but call out. Don't worry. This blood light cannot trouble me. However, you must not enter, as this blood light seems to have the power to bewilder the mind and corrupt the physical body. You have not yet entered the innate realm and do not have innate true chi inside your body to resist it. Once I slay this evil demon, I'll head out. The elder doctor's calm voice came from within the red light. Then be careful, master. Hearing the firmness in his master's tone, Lu Qing could only respond. He knew that his master was truly infuriated this time, and he wouldn't rest until he personally finished off that hook-nosed old man. Fortunately, when the hook-nosed old man took out the blood soul banner earlier, Lu Qing had already used his superpower to investigate it. The magic artifact was merely a defective product that hadn't recovered even half of its power. It wasn't a significant threat to his master. Moreover, his master possessed the merit light, which was the bane of such evil path artifacts. This red light probably wouldn't be able to trouble him. Besides, he wanted to see just how strong his enraged master truly was. On ordinary days, his master rarely engaged others in battle. On the rare occasions when he sparred with Wei Shanhai, it was merely a brief clash, conceding after just 2 moves, never fighting seriously. Thus, even Lu Qing, who knew his master's realm and trump cards, had never witnessed his master unleash his full strength and just how powerful he could be. If master can't win, then I'll step in. Lu Qing's heart and spirit lingered for a moment on the Chenkuan primordial qi at his waist. After a period of refining and absorbing spiritual energy, this ancient spiritual artifact had also regained a hint of its might. Big talk for someone in my blood light domain. Let's see if you have the capability to defeat me, old man. The hook-nosed old man's voice came from within the red light. Immediately after, strong fluctuations of power emanated from within, clearly indicating that the two top fighters had commenced their battle. Master isn't at a disadvantage. After sensing for a few moments, Lu Qing felt that his master wasn't being suppressed and was relieved. Moreover, he knew that his master still had a hidden trump card up his sleeve, making winning the battle quite likely. In normal times, master engages in too few battles. Let this battle serve as a trial for him, Lu Qing thought to himself. Young man, turns out you aren't even at the innate realm. Now that your master is trapped in my brother's bloodlight domain, I'd like to see who can protect you now. As Lu Qing was mulling things over, a sinister voice rose from behind him. He turned to look, displaying a smile. I almost forgot about you, this cripple, but I'm surprised you didn't attempt a sneak attack. Young man, you're courting death. The figure in the black robe, seeing that Lu Qing was still mocking him, became furious. With a long staff in his hand, it turned into a black shadow and swiftly thrust towards Lu Qing's chest. The reason he had refrained from launching a sneak attack was not due to any code of conduct, but because he was just 10 feet away from Lu Qing. At such a close range, Lu Qing's arrow skill couldn't display its full power. Moreover, having heard that Lu Qing wasn't even at the innate realm, he looked down on him even more. Confident of victory, he disdained the need to launch a surprise attack. He wanted to use the cruelest method to completely crush the young man who had repeatedly mocked him. Bring it on! Facing the attack from the black-robed figure's staff, Lu Qing let out a light shout. His body slightly sank, and a faint yellow light flickered across his body. Without dodging or avoiding, his right hand clenched into a fist and smashed forward. Has this kid gone mad, daring to confront my divine weapon with his bare flesh and blood? Seeing Lu Qing daring to smash a fist towards his staff, a flicker of doubt crossed the eyes of the figure in the black robe. Then, the next moment, his doubt turned to shock. Boom! Lu Qing's fist collided with the tip of the staff, and a powerful qi force burst forth, creating layers of fog with the impact. The figure in the black robe only felt an irresistible force coming from the staff. Despite his innate realm cultivation, he couldn't suppress it, and he couldn't even maintain his stance, stumbling backward repeatedly. The staff in his hand vibrated violently, nearly tearing his grip apart. How is this possible? After retreating more than 10 steps, the figure in the black robe steadied himself. His gaze towards Lu Qing was filled with disbelief. Chapter 334. Crushing. What's so impossible about that? Facing the shock of the figure in the black robe, Lu Qing cracked a smile. With a flick of his wrist, he casually tossed the longbow in his hand onto a stall beside the street. Then he reached into his chest and pulled out a set of gauntlets. The whole set was made of cowhide, with 1,000 refinement-level steel plates embedded on the knuckles, something Lu Qing had made while forging arrows as a sideline. However, your stick technique has some merit. It made receiving your blows somewhat difficult. Lu Qing slipped the gauntlets onto his hands. Even though he had used the protective power of the magic talisman within his forehead acupoint to shield himself, his fist still throbbed with pain. After putting on the gauntlets and moving his wrists, Lu Qing felt somewhat satisfied and looked ahead. But this is exactly what I wanted. I've recently had some insights and wanted to find someone to test them on. I was worried you were injured, significantly weakened, and wouldn't be able to withstand a few punches. Now it seems your strength is better preserved than I thought, suitable for me to test my fists on. His body sinking slightly, Lu Qing slowly adopted a fighting stance, and with a slight smile toward the figure in the black robe, said, Old man, I hope you can last a bit longer. If you were to be killed by my punches too quickly, that would be rather dull. You arrogant brat. Hearing Lu Qing's brazen words, the figure in the black robe flew into a towering rage. Although he was shocked by Lu Qing's strength, he had also felt during their clash that Lu Qing indeed hadn't cultivated innate true qi yet and wasn't an innate realm martial artist. Being humiliated by a postnatal realm martial artist, how could the figure in the black robe contain his anger? In a fury, he swung his long stick, creating a sky full of stick shadows, sweeping toward Lu Qing like a violent storm. This time, the figure in the black robe not only used his full strength but also burned his innate true qi, unleashing an explosive secret technique. It was truly a full-out effort. He no longer thought of how to torture Lu Qing. Now he just wanted to blast Lu Qing into mush within a single stroke. Not bad. This is more like it. Faced with the sky full of stick shadows, Lu Qing remained utterly composed, a fighting spirit igniting in his eyes. At the slightest thought, a golden orb within the acupoint on his forehead began to glow slightly, and at the same time, the Earth Spirit Pearl started to slowly revolve. In an instant, a faint golden light emerged from his skin. A formidable power, unparalleled, bolstered his body. With this peerless strength behind him, Lu Qing fiercely stepped forward, fracturing the ground, and his fist that had been at his waist vanished, hammering violently and without equal toward the dense stick shadows in front of him. Roar! With the punch thrown, a powerful roar, like that of a tiger, erupted from Lu Qing's body, reverberating throughout the town, shaking everything. Under the extreme speed and pressure of his punch, the air in front of him burst apart, instantly becoming a white mist, while a powerful shockwave formed, sweeping through the countless stick shadows before him. Boom! The fierce fist power shockwave collided with the stick shadows conjured by the figure in the black robe. One side consisted of tangible stick shadows condensed by innate true qi, while the other was a powerful shockwave forcefully created by distorting and compressing the atmosphere with pure physical body strength. The essence of the two was different, but what they shared was immense, overwhelming power. As they collided with each other, an even greater storm was stirred up. The violent stormy air currents directly shattered many houses on both sides of the street between the two men. Clang! Amid the intense explosion, guided by divine soul sensing, Lu Qing accurately found the figure in the black robe's divine weapon long stick, hidden within the myriad stick shadows, and imprinted a punch onto it. The overwhelming power burst forth from his body, causing the divine weapon long stick to bend violently. The figure in the black robe couldn't maintain his grasp. His body shook violently, and whilst being flung backwards, the long stick flew out of his hand, piercing through several houses before disappearing from sight. But at this point, the figure in the black robe couldn't care less about his divine weapon. Because after Lu Qing's punch had sent his weapon flying, with another stomp that cracked the ground, in the blink of an eye he was right in front of him. Wait! Watching Lu Qing's eyes filled with cold murderous intent and having lost his weapon, unsteady in form and still in midair, the figure in the black robe suddenly felt a tremendous fear and hastily shouted, "You're dead!" But it was of no use. Lu Qing's gaze was icy, and in an instant, his fists generated countless punching shadows, all imprinted on the figure in the black robe's body. Bang, bang, bang. The sound of dense impacts rang out, and in a fraction of a second, Lu Qing didn't know how many punches he had thrown. All of them landed on the figure in the black robe, distorting and warping his innate body, stiffening him in midair, rendering him unable to fall. Thud! After continuously hammering for around 3 breaths, Lu Qing finally drew back his hands and ceased his attack. As the myriad fists' shadows converged, the figure in the black robe's body finally dropped to the ground. But by then, he was in an utterly pitiful state. Below the head, his entire body, including his limbs, was twisted beyond recognition. Not an inch of flesh was undamaged. Even his bones and internal organs had turned to mush. Nothing remained intact. The entire person lay on the ground like a burst sack, limp and unable to even lift his head. Despite this, the figure in the black robe had not died yet. The strong will of the innate realm at the small success stage kept him conscious for the time being, even though his physical body was entirely ruined. Chapter 335. At that moment, His gaze towards Lu Qing was no longer filled with the anger from before, replaced instead by sheer disbelief and fear. It was hard to believe that he dared not accept that he had been so easily defeated by a mere boy still wet behind the ears. The fear came from the power and the level of boxing Lu Qing had just demonstrated, which was utterly terrifying. In all his years, he had never seen such ferocious boxing. It was unimaginable how someone as young as Lu Qing could have cultivated such skill. Was this boy really human? For a time, in his mind, Lu Qing seemed to transform into some sort of monstrous creature. What a shame! Lu Qing stood in front of the figure in the black robe, looking at him indifferently. I initially thought you might withstand a few of my moves and allow me to hone my boxing skills, but it seems you couldn't even handle a single one. It appears I overestimated you. As an innate realm early-stage powerhouse, you are much weaker than I expected. Perhaps I should have asked my master to show mercy earlier and not sever your arm. PFT. Already filled with enough grief and rage, the figure in the black robe spat out a mouthful of fresh blood upon hearing this, overwhelmed with sorrow. You, what kind of monster are you? Now, the figure in the black robe could barely move his head, and even speaking was extremely difficult. He could only struggle to communicate using the remnants of his divine soul power. Just a passerby, Lu Qing replied indifferently. Do you know why I spared your life and didn't kill you directly? Why? The figure in the black robe found this odd too. With Lu Qing's boxing skill, he could have completely annihilated him just now. Yet, he had deliberately avoided his head, sparing his life. Do you think to use my life to threaten my senior brother to release your master? A flash of insight struck the figure in the black robe. He immediately said, Young friend, you're right. My senior brother and I grew up together, close as brothers. If you trade me for your master, he would definitely agree. Although his body was severely disabled, the figure in the black robe still possessed a strong will to survive. Because, having received the inheritance of an ancient evil cultivator, he knew that as long as his consciousness survived, anything was possible. Even in his injured state, there was a chance for recovery. Not to mention, if his senior brother achieved great success, he could use the Blood Soul banner to help him recover. Thus, as long as there was a glimmer of hope, he would not give up. Trade for my master? You think too highly of your senior brother. Lu Qing looked mockingly at the figure before him, resembling mud. I'm keeping you alive for now, just to show you something, so you can die with your eyes closed in peace. With that said, Lu Qing tossed a jade pendant in front of the figure in the black robe. The figure in the black robe, already disheartened by Lu Qing's words, was startled when he saw the pendant. This jade pendant? Yes, it belonged to your precious great-grandson, Mo Xian. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I am the one who killed him, Lu Qing stated calmly. He died when I stomped his head into his chest. It was quite tragic. It was you. You devil, you killed my Mo Xian. Boy, I will never coexist with you. The figure in the black robe could no longer remain calm. An intense divine soul fluctuations emerged from his head. His furious expression was fierce, completely resembling someone who wanted to devour Lu Qing alive. Angry, are you? Lu Qing chuckled lightly. Indeed, people like you, when inflicting harm on others, never have a shred of kindness. Only when the same happens to you do you feel anger and fear. Truly despicable. Nothing but maggots. I will kill you. I will kill you. The figure in the black robe's eyes were blood red, still emanating a potent aura of resentment and murderous intent, like a true evil spirit. However, this did not affect Lu Qing at all, nor did he immediately kill him. Instead, he just stood there quietly, seemingly waiting for something, letting him rage on. Several breaths later, Lu Qing's expression subtly changed. He turned his head toward the still shouting head and said, Enough! Stop pretending. Your senior brother is about to come out. Let's see if he can save you. The frantic divine soul fluctuations of the figure in the black robe abruptly stopped. A voice filled with shock and anger rose within the bloodlight domain. An innate domain with water and fire sword chi. How is this possible? At the same time, Within the blood-light domain, brilliant radiance burst forth. The mighty sword intent suppressed everything around it. A sword chi, composed of both red and white colors, soared into the sky, cleaving the entire blood-light domain in two. The blood-light gradually faded, revealing the scene within. The first sight that met the eyes of Lu Qing and the others was the severely damaged street. In the very center, two figures stood facing each other. One held a long, blood-colored banner, while the other wielded a long sword. It was none other than the hook-nosed old man and the elder doctor. However, compared to before, both men looked significantly different. The elder doctor's face was smooth, his hair pitch-black, and his body radiated a sharp sword intent. His clothes were immaculate, and he appeared decades younger, resembling a middle-aged man. The hook-nosed old man was much more pitiful. Not only were his clothes torn like those of a beggar, but his entire body was also covered in blood-soaked wounds. His hair was disheveled as he gasped for air, completely bereft of his previous arrogance. Even the blood-soul banner in his hand was broken in two. Most of the banner's cloth had been shaven off, rendering it utterly useless. His life's energy had plummeted to the bottom, as if it was about to extinguish. Senior brother. The figure in the black robe, seeing the wretched state of his senior brother, emitted a wave of disbelief. It seemed hard to accept that his senior brother, even with the blood-soul banner, had been defeated. The hook-nosed old man felt this divine soul fluctuation, looked over, initially stunned, then managed a tragic smile. Junior brother, have you also lost? These master and disciple really are monsters. After his tragic smile, the hook-nosed old man looked toward the elder doctor. Sir, I didn't expect you to not only comprehend a complete innate domain, but also possess innate true chi of both water and fire attributes, capable of blending and supporting each other. In this battle, I am completely convinced of my defeat. The shock in the hook-nosed old man was genuine. He had never imagined the existence of such an anomaly in the world. A person who still lingered at the early stage of the innate realm but was able to comprehend a complete innate domain. Domain, after all, is an area that only peerless martial artists at the great success of innate realm could delve into. Not to mention that the elder doctor not only mastered two completely opposite sword intents, but he had also perfectly merged them, increasing their power significantly. Any of these aspects, by themselves, would utterly overturn the hook-nosed old man's understanding of the martial arts. It was no wonder he was profoundly shocked. Faced with the sincere praise from the hook-nosed old man, the elder doctor did not respond, merely watching him coldly. Regarding such an evil demon who treated human life as nothing and whimsically harmed others' lives, he found no need for conversation. The hook-nosed old man also did not care about the elder doctor's attitude. The victor is king, the loser the bandit. Now, as the defeated party, he didn't possess the privilege. Sir, in this battle I have lost fairly. However, there is one thing I would very much like to understand, if you would kindly enlighten me, so that I can die with my eyes closed. The elder doctor's gaze slightly shifted as he coldly spat out two words. What is it? I would like to know who you are. And where did you get the information to come and stop us brothers from refining the blood-soul banner? This was something the hook-nosed old man couldn't figure out. A top-notch martial artist like the elder doctor shouldn't be so unknown. But he could think of no innate realm martial artist that matched him. More importantly, such a powerful warrior happened to appear in Yunzhou, and at the crucial moment of refining the blood-soul banner to break the array. Such a coincidence was really beyond his expectation. Yet, what the hook-nosed old man didn't expect was that the elder doctor didn't intend to answer his question. Why should a dying man need to know so much? You cultivate evil techniques, harm living beings, and deserve to die. Just depart in peace. After saying that, a burst of sword chi was emitted, directly beheading the hook-nosed old man. Chapter 336. The fickle heart, the holy order is useless. Senior brother. Seeing the hooked-nosed elder decapitated with a single stroke of the sword, the figure in the black robe exhibited a horrified look, with violent ripples of divine soul power emanating from him. At the same time, his heart turned cold by half. If even the senior brother died, then his chances of survival were certainly non-existent. Qing was somewhat surprised by his master's sudden act of murder. It seemed that Master truly had become extremely enraged by the cruel actions of these two brothers, and had acted so decisively. Now that the hooked-nosed elder was dead, there was no need to spare the other. Lu Qing ignored the black-robed figure's pleading eyes, flicked a pebble, and pierced his forehead, eradicating his divine soul power, thus killing him completely. With this, the flowing cloud sect's greatest support, the two innate realm supreme elders, had thus perished at the hands of the two master-disciple pair of Lu Qing. However, although the instigators had been slain, Lu Qing felt no joy at all. The elder doctor felt even more so, standing silently for a long time after killing the hooked-nosed elder. Master! Lu Qing could see that his master seemed to be in good spirits and gently called out to him. Qing, I think I now understand why I had such a premonition when the heaven and earth Tao sound first rang out, the elder doctor suddenly said. Lu Qing was taken aback. The changes in heaven and earth are not only affecting the cultivation environment but also human hearts. What has been revived is not just the spiritual energy but also various forms of evil qi and demonic qi that can disturb people's minds. The changes in the heaven and earth rules have begun to gradually clear the once murky path in martial arts, making further advancement a possibility. In their pursuit of breakthroughs, certain martial artists will undoubtedly do everything possible, shattering bottlenecks even if it means transgressing taboos. I fear the rules set by Holy Mountain will soon become obsolete. Lu Qing remained silent. He knew his master was right. Martial artists were persistent in their quest to become stronger. Now, with the changes in heaven and earth and the recovery of spiritual energy, martial arts cultivation became more filled with possibilities. Especially those martial artists in the innate realm with excellent talents, they had a great chance to break through their bottlenecks and ascend to higher levels. If they sought advancement honestly by comprehending the changes of heaven and earth, it would be fine. The fear was that some innate realm martial artists would not take the righteous path but instead take shortcuts on the evil path, sacrificing living creatures in their breakthroughs. Just like this pair of brothers from Flowing Cloud sect, they performed blood sacrifices involving living creatures, plundering their chi blood and souls, to enhance themselves. Such actions would undoubtedly be a great disaster for all the people of the world. As for the holy orders of the Holy Mountain, when the worldly situation is stable and the powers are balanced, the holy order might be effective. But now, with the changing heaven and earth, the rules becoming lax, and every power scheming for their benefit, who would seriously regard these so-called holy orders? Holy Mountain itself probably had its hands full. Otherwise, with such a huge commotion caused by Flowing Cloud sect in Yunzhou, why would there be no appearance of people from Holy Mountain? Not even those from Tianji Building, who claim to maintain Holy Mountain's rules and are exceptionally well informed, have shown up. This only indicated one thing. Something indeed had occurred in Central State, causing Holy Mountain to no longer be able to attend to affairs in other states. Master, it seems we need to get to Central State sooner to understand the current worldly situation, Lu Qing said. Indeed, once matters here are resolved, we shall set off immediately. The elder doctor also nodded. Central State was the busiest place in the world, equal to the sum of all other states, and only there could they truly understand the current state of the world. Elder, I'm here to help you. While Lu Qing and his master were speaking, a figure flew down in front of them. It was the sword-wielding man. Elder, are you all right? The sword-wielding man was about to ask when he saw the elder doctor's appearance, and suddenly he was startled. It turned out that the elder doctor, in order to break through the bloodlight domain earlier, had elevated his spirit to its peak state, and his appearance had reverted to his youthful look from when he had just broken through to the innate realm. The sword-wielding man, seeing this suddenly, was completely stunned. It's fine, the two culprits have been executed, so there's no need to worry. The elder doctor came to his senses too, reined in his chi blood, and his hair gradually returned to white, quickly reverting to his previous appearance. Understanding dawned on the sword-wielding man that the elder doctor had been deliberately maintaining an older appearance. However, He soon moved past that point, shocked by what the elder doctor had said. Elder, you mean you have already slain the Mo brothers? The sword-wielding man hadn't finished speaking when he suddenly froze. It was then he noticed the two lifeless bodies of the hooked-nosed elder and the black-robed figure on the ground, his eyes widening. Merely two lawless villains who gratuitously harmed living creatures. They deserve to be executed, the elder doctor said indifferently. But what about the situation of your sect's disciples and those fellow martial artists from Yunzhou? A look of sorrow came over the sword-wielding man's face. Their situation is not very good. Half of them have been harmed by the Mo brothers. The rest have had their chi blood and marrow extracted through evil techniques, and those with weaker bodies are nearly at the end of their ropes. I have been using my true chi to heal them, momentarily stabilizing their conditions. Even so, there are several among them, I fear, who might not make it through the day. If it wasn't for this, he wouldn't have delayed such a long time at the inn. Oh, is it that serious? The elder doctor exclaimed in shock and immediately said, Then let's go have a look. This old fellow knows some medical skill, perhaps I can be of some assistance. Chapter 337. Do you know medical skills, senior? The sword-bearing man said with surprise. Given the elder doctor's profound and impenetrable cultivation, the medical skills he knew must be extraordinary. We should only delay slightly. Let's hurry over. Senior, this way, please. The sword-bearing man cast one last look at the corpses of the Mo siblings and immediately moved forward. Lu Qing, having retrieved his longbow, followed his master closely behind. The three of them quickly arrived at the inn, and upon entering and seeing all the dry corpses, both Lu Qing and the elder doctor were taken aback. They knew these must be the martial artists who had been killed by the eagle-nosed old man using evil techniques. They just hadn't expected their deaths to be so tragic. Supreme Elder, Senior Yen. When Lu Qing and the others entered, the members of the Silver Moon sect, who were sitting cross-legged on the ground healing their injuries, initially showed joy, but then became cautious upon seeing Lu Qing and the elder doctor. This is Mr. Chun and his esteemed disciple. Step aside. Mr. Chun is well-versed in medical skills. Let him have a look at the condition of those disciples from the Palace of 100 Blossoms. The sword-bearing man called out. The members of the Silver Moon sect were initially stunned, but they quickly moved aside to reveal several figures lying behind them. These were a few young women in white garments, all currently unconscious with their eyes tightly shut, their faces pale and haggard. Even their originally lustrous black hair had turned dry and white. The elder doctor placed 2 fingers on the wrist of one of the women, and a trace of innate true chi softly probed into her to check her internal condition. Quickly, the elder doctor's expression became serious. As the sword-bearing man had said, the condition of these women was indeed very bad. Their chi blood was deficient, their pulses were weak, and the life force within them was nearly extinguished, truly on the verge of oil running out and lamps burning dry. How are these disciples from the Palace of 100 Blossoms doing, Senior? Is there still hope to save them? Asked the Deputy Palace Master Lu of the Palace of 100 Blossoms carefully and respectfully. Seeing even the Supreme Elder of the Silver Moon sect showing great respect toward the Elder Doctor, she naturally did not dare to neglect him. I will try my best, said the Elder Doctor solemnly, taking out a pouch of needles and turning to Lu Qing. Ah, Qing, bring the medicine box. I need to use medicine. Yes, Master. Lu Qing was originally using his superpower to discreetly investigate everyone in the inn to prevent any malicious individuals from mixing in among them. Just as he finished his investigation, he heard his master's instruction. He nodded, turned, and left the inn, using his movement technique to quickly go towards the direction where their carriage was parked. Seeing his master's serious expression, Lu Qing also slightly used the power of the earth element talisman in the acupoint between his eyebrows to increase his speed. Thus, he quickly returned to their campsite. Young Master, brother, young Master Lu. Seeing Lu Qing return, Ma Gu and the others were overjoyed and crowded around him. Don't ask about the situation yet. I'll talk about it later. Uncle Ma, pack up immediately and drive the carriage to the town. Master is there saving people and needs the medicine. I am going ahead. Little Yen, be good and don't run around. Lu Qing swiftly interrupted the others who wanted to ask questions, hefted a medicine box on his back, and vanished again into the forest. This left Ma Gu and the rest standing there, stunned. Uncle Ma, what do you think about this? At that moment, the chubby middle-aged man courteously said to Ma Gu, just do as young master said. Since he has asked us to come over, it evidently means that the danger in the town has been cleared. Let's set off immediately. Ma Gu thought for a bit and directly said, all right, we'll do as you say, Uncle Ma. The chubby middle-aged man quickly replied. Ma Gu gave him a curious look. He had noticed that ever since he had climbed up to the treetop and come back down, his attitude had become somewhat peculiar, appearing much more respectful and restrained. Senior Su had seen something atop the treetops earlier that altered his demeanor so drastically. Ma Gu speculated somewhat, but he didn't point it out. Instead, he signaled to Wei Zian to start packing up. After grabbing the medicine box, Lu Qing swiftly returned to the inn. Master, I got the medicine box, Lu Qing said as he handed over the medicine box. The elder doctor received the medicine box, opened it and took out a white jade bottle. After opening the stopper, he dropped a few drops of medical liquid into the mouths of several unconscious disciples from the Palace of 100 Blossoms. Lu Qing recognized that the medicine his master was using was the precious life-saving medicine they had devised together, based on earth vein spirit liquid and century-old ginseng, supplemented by other precious herbs. When Mrs. Wei was critically ill and when Wei Zian was poisoned in an assassination attempt, it was this medicine that saved them from the brink of death. After dropping in the life-saving spiritual medicine, the elder doctor began the acupuncture, using the power of the needles to stimulate the efficacy of the medicine. It didn't take long before the originally pale and wan faces of the Palace of 100 Blossoms disciples gained a bit of color. Their breath, which had been as tenuous as a thread, also became much steadier. The surviving martial artists in the inn, all extraordinary in their own right, could tell, even in their weakened states, that the conditions of the disciples from the Palace of 100 Blossoms were visibly improving. At the very least, they looked much better than their earlier corpse-like appearances. All right, their conditions have stabilized for now, said the elder doctor softly. Deputy Palace Master Lu of the Palace of 100 Blossoms, overjoyed at the news, immediately went forward and gave a deep bow, saying, thank you, Senior, for saving them. This great kindness will never be forgotten by all within the Palace of 100 Blossoms. No need for such courtesy. While their lives are not in danger for now, their bodies are still very weak. They must not engage in combat and should quietly recuperate in the coming months. Remember this well, the elder doctor advised warmly. I will heed the advice, Deputy Palace Master Lu replied respectfully. After removing the silver needles from the bodies of the several female disciples of the Palace of 100 Blossoms, the elder doctor surveyed his surroundings, pondered for a moment, and then said, I see that the chi blood in many of your faces also appears unwell. If you don't mind, let me take your pulse and see how to adjust it. Hearing this, the eyes of the crowd flickered with hope. They had all witnessed the medical skill of the elder doctor. The condition of the female disciples of the Palace of 100 Blossoms had been dire. It wouldn't have been an exaggeration to say they were half-stepped into the underworld. Yet, the elder doctor had saved them in a short period of time. To claim his medical prowess could bring the dying back to life wasn't an exaggeration. Previously, they had been drained of their essence by the supreme elder of the Flowing Cloud sect through an evil technique. Though they had fortuitously survived, their bodies were severely depleted, and it was uncertain if they harbored any hidden injuries. Now that such a divine doctor offered to check and adjust their conditions, how could they refuse? They bowed respectfully one after another. Thank you, Senior. Seeing his master start to take pulses for others, Lu Qing also began to walk around the inn. Soon he stopped in front of a corpse. Unlike the other withered corpses in the inn that had been drained dry, this corpse was still fresh. It had been killed by a sword thrust through the brow, and its right shoulder seemed unnaturally disrupted, as if the clavicle had been broken. This person seems to be a disciple of the Flowing Cloud sect. When I came in, he was trying to take hostages from other fellows from Yunzhou in the inn, threatening me, so I killed him with a single sword strike," said the man with a sword who had been paying attention to Lu Qing, explaining the situation. Lu Qing nodded and then asked, "What about the sect master of the Flowing Cloud sect? Senior? Didn't you see him?" "No." The swordsman shook his head. He received a warning from Mo Hu and escaped beforehand. At the time, I was using my true qi to treat those Palace of 100 Blossoms disciples, so I didn't pursue him. He still felt somewhat frustrated as he spoke. Mo Zhan's cultivation was not low, having developed his divine soul power, only a step away from the innate realm. Now that he had escaped, if he were to step into the innate realm in the future, it would likely pose a significant threat. One from the shadows was particularly fearsome. Lu Qing saw the swordsman's regret and said nothing. Since he had let the man go himself, any consequences that occurred in the future would have to be borne by him alone. Seeing Lu Qing's silence, the swordsman hesitated for a few moments before finally asking, "Young master, was it you who killed Mo Hu?" Chapter 338. Eradicate Evil, the Evil Blood Cocoon. The swordsman had previously noticed the death states of the Mo Hu brothers, which were vastly different. The old man with the hooked nose had been beheaded with a single stroke and had many other sword wounds on his body. Clearly, he had been killed by the elder doctor. Given the terrifying strength the elder doctor had previously displayed, it wasn't too surprising that he could kill the man with the hooked nose. What truly shocked the swordsman was Mo Hu's death state. Except for his head, the rest of his body was twisted beyond recognition, like a pool of mush, unspeakably tragic. This was not the elder doctor's usual style, so there could be only one possibility: Mo Hu was killed by Lu Qing. After all, there were only the master and disciple, Lu Qing and Wei Ziyan, left there. But this made the swordsman slightly unbelievable, so he wanted to confirm it personally. Didn't I tell Senior earlier that Mo Hu posed no threat to me?" Lu Qing nodded. "Was it truly the young master who killed?" The swordsman was inexplicably shaken. It should be known that although Mo Hu's arm was severed, and he had been wounded by the elder doctor, he was still a genuine innate realm early-stage expert, and yet he was killed by a youth. Moreover, wasn't Lu Qing skilled with the bow? Why then did Mo Hu's death state look more like he had been beaten to death brutally? The swordsman, shocked, was filled with numerous doubts. However, Lu Qing did not give him a chance to ask in detail because he sensed that Ma Gu and the others had entered Luyun town. What exactly happened here? At the entrance of Luyun town, Ma Gu and his companions were driving a carriage on the street, looking at the surroundings with something akin to horror. Those humanoid blood stains and the clothes on them looked very strange, sending chills down their spines. No wonder Lu Qing had previously not allowed them to follow. Seeing this strange scene betrayed that something terrifying must have happened in the town, especially the plump, middle-aged man, who felt incredibly relieved. Luckily, Dr. Chun and the others had insisted on not entering the town. Otherwise, it would be difficult to say whether the blood stains on this street could have been from them and their disciples. Thinking of this, the plump, middle-aged man suddenly paused. Had Dr. Chun and the others already foreseen this scene? "Master, which way should we go?" Wei Ziyan looked at the quiet street, also feeling somewhat terrified, and could not help asking. "Let's wait a bit. The noble and the elder are in the town. They must have sensed our arrival." As soon as Ma Gu finished speaking, he saw a figure sweeping from ahead. The next moment, it had appeared in front of the carriage. "My lord!" Ma Gu reined in the carriage, calling out joyfully. The others also showed a look of happiness. They couldn't help it. The current state of Luyun town was too bizarre, making them feel as if their hearts were covered in hair. "You've arrived. Come with me, the master is over there," Lu Qing said. "My lord, what are these?" Ma Gu pointed at the humanoid bloodstains on the street. "Those are ordinary townsfolk who were refined away by the Flowing Cloud sect using evil techniques. Don't worry about it. They pose no threat to you," Lu Qing said indifferently. However, the content of his words sent shivers down Ma Gu and the others. The Flowing Cloud sect was so brutally insane that they did not spare even the townsfolk below their mountain. Following Lu Qing, the carriage made its way towards the direction of a tavern. As they passed, they also saw the corpses of the two men with hooked noses, and the severely damaged street, which made them even more frightened. Those two corpses, although already dead, still emitted a terrifying aura. One could imagine that they must have been formidable martial arts experts when alive. Both such experts had died, and coupled with the street that was almost a ruin, everyone did not dare to imagine what kind of battle had taken place here before. Please wait a moment. Upon seeing the corpse in the black robe again, Lu Qing suddenly remembered something. He had Ma Gu stop the carriage, then with a few leaps he went behind a house, searched for a while, and finally found what he was looking for. It was the black long staff that he had knocked out of the hand of the man in the black robe. "Let's go." Holding the long staff, he returned to the carriage and casually placed it on the vehicle. Lu Qing said indifferently. People didn't dare to ask, only to follow behind him. Before long, they finally arrived in front of the tavern. The swordsman, hearing the sound of the carriage, came out. "This is Senior Yen, the Supreme Elder of the Silver Moon sect," Lu Qing said. "Nice to meet you, Senior Yen." Ma Gu and the others greeted him respectfully. Especially the plump, middle-aged man and his disciples were shaken to the core. They were all from Yunzhou and naturally were quite aware of the major powers in Yunzhou. The Supreme Elder of the Silver Moon sect, one of the three major sects, wasn't that an innate realm expert? If he is the young master's friend, no need for formalities, the swordsman quickly said. If it were others, the swordsman might have maintained a bit of the demeanor of a superior senior. But these people clearly had a deep relationship with Lu Qing, and he did not dare to put on airs. With respect to Lu Qing and the elder doctor, the two mysterious experts, the swordsman held considerable awe in his heart. Seeing that even the Supreme Elder of the Silver Moon sect treated Lu Qing so courteously, the plump middle-aged man was somewhat prepared, but when Bin and the others were indeed surprised. However, at this time no one cared about their feelings. Lu Qing said, "Senior Yen, has the elder finished treating the other seniors?" "It's almost done. There were a few people left who hadn't had their pulses taken when I came out. I'll go look inside." Lu Qing nodded and then said to Ma Gu, "Master Ma, please wait outside for a while." Chapter 339. In the tavern, there were numerous corpses, all having died in a horrific and tragic manner. Although little Yen had seen quite a few dead people recently, Lu Qing still didn't want her to witness such a gruesome scene. By the time Lu Qing entered the tavern, he saw the elder doctor just finishing taking the pulse of the last person. "Master, Mayor Ma and the others have already come in," Lu Qing said softly. "MHM," the elder doctor responded, withdrawing his hand and addressing the tall, thin martial artist before him. "Your symptoms are similar to those of the other good men before you. Both qi blood are deficient, and your foundation is damaged, but fortunately, it's not life-threatening. As long as you properly rest and recuperate in the coming days and regulate your body with supplements, you should be able to recover." "Thank you, Senior Yen." After hearing this, the tall, thin martial artist was overjoyed and repeatedly expressed his gratitude. What he feared most was that after being afflicted with the evil techniques of that hook-nosed old devil, there would be some hidden problems left in his body. Now that he heard there were no serious issues, he immediately breathed a sigh of relief. "Everyone." After diagnosing everyone, the elder doctor stood up. "I've examined all of your pulses. Thankfully, your martial arts cultivation is profound, and your roots are strong. Although there has been a loss in qi blood, it hasn't threatened your lives. I will prescribe 2 restorative formulas for all of you soon. As long as you go back, get the medicine according to the prescriptions, and take them in a timely manner, resting and recuperating for a month or 2, you should be able to fully recover." "Thank you, Senior Yen." All the Yunzhou martial artists bowed in unison and thanked the elder doctor. The elder doctor nodded and then said to Lu Qing, "Ah Qing, prepare some ink and paper for me. I need to write 2 prescriptions." "Yes, master." Lu Qing promptly prepared the ink, paper, brush, and inkstone. The elder doctor quickly wrote out 2 prescriptions and pasted them on the wall. These are 2 restorative formulas. Remember them or copy them down to take back with you, and adjust your regimen accordingly. The crowd of Yunzhou martial artists hurried forward to memorize or copy the prescriptions. Seizing the opportunity, the sword-carrying man approached and said, "Senior, the Flowing Cloud sect has long been a blight upon Yunzhou, and this time they even set up an evil formation, harming living creatures. Now, although Mo Hu and his brothers are dead, the Flowing Cloud sect still has significant influence. May I know what you plan to do with them?" The elder doctor hesitated. He wasn't particularly adept at dealing with such matters and truly didn't know what would be best to do. And after the hook-nosed elder and the figure in the black robe had perished, his own rage had already substantially subsided. He wasn't inclined to engage in further slaughter. He involuntarily looked towards Lu Qing. "Ah, Qing, what do you think we should do?" Lu Qing thought for a moment, then earnestly said, "Master, we've witnessed the actions and the character of the Flowing Cloud sect on our journey here. If such a brutal sect is allowed to persist, it would only be a scourge for the people of Yunzhou. We may not be able to save all living beings, but eliminating such a malignancy and thus sparing the people of Yunzhou even a little suffering is within our power. I know you have a kind heart, Master, and don't wish to recklessly slaughter, so let this disciple go and eradicate the Flowing Cloud sect." The elder doctor was somewhat silent. He recalled what he had seen of the Flowing Cloud sect's numerous deeds on his way here. Eventually, he still nodded. "You are right. The Flowing Cloud sect really should not be left alone. But to say I don't wish to recklessly slaughter, Ah Qing, you are mocking your master now. I, this old man, am not so weak-willed. The principle that eliminating one evil may save 10 righteous is something I understand. I will go up the mountain with you." Senior is willing to eliminate the Flowing Cloud sect? Upon hearing this, the sword-carrying man was elated. Even if the elder doctor had decided to spare the Flowing Cloud sect, he himself would not have let them off. Once back, he would definitely mobilize people to completely obliterate them. But after witnessing the strange techniques demonstrated by Mo Hu and his brothers, he still harbored great apprehension towards the Flowing Cloud sect. Even a tiny town at the foot of the mountain was subject to such a strange and evil formation by the Mo Hu brothers. Who knew what kind of traps those 2 might have laid at the sect's main stronghold on the mountain? If there were any more fearsome formations, he might not actually be able to contend with them. But with the help of the elder doctor and Lu Qing, it would be different. This master and disciple pair were mysterious and powerful. There was no need to elaborate on the elder doctor's capabilities. The terrifying sword chi alone still made the swordsman's heart quake with fear as he recalled it. Lu Qing was like a mist, not only ungraspable in strength but also seemed to have a deep understanding of arrays. With the 2 of them offering help, the annihilation of the Flowing Cloud sect was almost a certainty. "Senior, there's no time to delay. We probably need to act sooner rather than later. Mo Zhen, the sect master of the Flowing Cloud sect, escaped from the town earlier, and by now he has likely fled back to the mountain. His cultivation is profound, and he is but a hair's breadth away from reaching the innate realm. If we let him escape with the elite of the Flowing Cloud sect, even if we destroy the sect's gates, it will probably be of little use. They can simply find another place to hide and, once they rise again in the future, they will still be capable of wreaking havoc far and wide. We must eradicate this evil completely, so I believe we need to move quickly," the swordsman solemnly said. The elder doctor, hearing this, also knew that delay was not an option. He immediately said, "If that's the case, let us set out now." No sooner had they decided than the 3 martial arts experts, having given a few instructions to the others, left Luyun town and made for Luyun Mountain, towering into the clouds not far away. There is a saying, "The mountain looks close, but it kills the horse that approaches it." Luyun Mountain appeared to be close to Luyun town, but in reality, from the town to the foot of the mountain, there was a distance of 7 or 8 miles. However, to these 3 experts, such distances were trifling, and they quickly arrived at the gates of the Flowing Cloud sect. As expected, the Flowing Cloud sect has also set up an array. As they approached the gates of the Flowing Cloud sect, the swordsman showed a grave expression. Within the sect, a faint gray light shimmered, and an evil aura overflowed. A light screen enshrouded it, similar to the array formation light screen they had seen at Luyun Town. No worries, without an innate realm expert to control it, the power of the array is greatly reduced. Watch me break it. After sensing for a moment, Lu Qing immediately discovered that the power of the Bloodflesh Refining Soul array's light screen was far lesser than the one at Luyun Town. Young master's efforts are appreciated. Lu Qing pulled out a long arrow from the quiver on his back, beginning to shoot them one after another. Indeed, without an innate realm expert in control, the array's light screen could not withstand his arrows. Accompanied by muffled explosions, the gray light screen in front of them began to wobble and gradually disappeared. Young master's arrow skill is truly divine, the likes of which I've seldom seen in my life. The swordsman couldn't help but marvel, even after witnessing Lu Qing's method of breaking formation for the second time. It's just a little trick. Senior Yen, you flatter me? Lu Qing said with a light chuckle. As the gray light screen completely vanished, a rich scent of blood wafted through, and at the same time, a strong and extremely evil aura was sensed by them, making all three of their complexions change. What's happened? The three exchanged glances and immediately headed towards the majestic gates of the Flowing Cloud sect. When they reached the top of the gates and looked down, they were shocked. Below them, within the vast martial arts training ground behind the magnificent gates of the Flowing Cloud sect, lay numerous corpses dressed in the Flowing Cloud sect's attire, sprawled in disarray. There must have been several hundred at a glance. Crucially, all these corpses were still holding weapons, riddled with numerous wounds, and their faces were filled with a crazed expression, as if they had perished from slaughtering each other. But why would the disciples of the Flowing Cloud sect slaughter each other? Master Senior Yen, look. As the swordsman stood bewildered, Lu Qing pointed ahead. Following his finger, the swordsman and the elder doctor looked ahead, their faces turning slightly. In the center of the training ground stood a blood cocoon more than a man's height. Blood was continuously drawn from the ground and poured into the cocoon. The powerful evil aura they sensed was also emanating from within the blood cocoon. What is that? The swordsman had never seen such a strange scene and could not help but cry out in shock. Chapter 340. Blood Demon Body, Lu Qing's new move. In the middle of the Flowing Cloud sect martial arts training ground, a blood cocoon was standing upright. Beneath it, strange runes appeared, continually drawing blood from the bodies of many Flowing Cloud sect disciples who seemed to have killed each other, merging it into the blood cocoon. And as the blood continuously merged, the evil aura inside the cocoon grew stronger and stronger. It had vaguely reached the level of the innate realm. What is that? The sword-bearing man's face was filled with astonishment. It was the first time in his life he had seen such a strange and evil scene. Lu Qing stared intently at the blood cocoon, and soon, information about the cocoon appeared in his field of vision. Blood Demon Cocoon. Formed by a secret technique of the ancient blood demon, it draws essence blood from living creatures and solidifies into a cocoon. Those who form a blood demon cocoon can quickly break through bottlenecks. Once they emerge from the cocoon, they can develop a blood demon body resistant to weapons and possessing immense strength. This demon path evil technique can drastically alter a person's nature to be cruel and ruthless. Those who form a blood demon body are no longer human. They must subsist on blood and become bloodthirsty monsters. As the information appeared in his field of vision, Lu Qing was a bit startled. He hadn't expected this trip to Yunzhou to be so thrilling. Not only had he witnessed an ancient array, but now even a sinister thing like a blood demon cocoon had appeared. Master, this is a blood demon cocoon. It is nurturing a kind of monster called a blood demon inside. We need to destroy it immediately. Otherwise, once the monster appears, it might be difficult to handle, Lu Qing immediately said. Upon hearing this, the elder doctor immediately unleashed a powerful burst of sword chi towards the cocoon. Beside him, the sword-bearing man also slashed out several sword chi attacks. Lu Qing grabbed 3 long arrows and shot them swiftly, targeting the upper, middle, and lower sections of the cocoon. Just as the three men's attacks were about to strike the blood cocoon, suddenly, an anomaly occurred, as numerous blood-red tentacles suddenly materialized on the surface of the cocoon and met their attacks. Boom! A powerful collision ensued, and a loud explosion sounded, raising a cloud of blood mist while also tossing nearby corpses aside. Amid the explosive sounds, both Lu Qing and the elder doctor frowned. They both felt that their recent attacks had seemingly posed no threat to the cocoon. Ha 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 ha. Sure enough, before they could discern the situation below, a crazed laugh suddenly emanated from within the blood mist. Following that, another explosive sound erupted, and the blood mist below violently dispersed, as the wind swept through and slowly dissipated. Lu Qing and the others focused their gaze. Before them, the blood cocoon had burst open, turning into a pool of filthy blood. A figure was standing where the cocoon had previously been. This figure, naked, with messy hair, eyes emitting red light, was emitting a powerful, bloodthirsty, and evil aura. Lu Qing focused his gaze on him. Emotion, the current sect master of Flowing Cloud Sect and father to Emotion, brutal, selfish, and deeply scheming. Cultivation, newly achieved blood demon body, comparable to the innate realm early stage with physical strength even greater. Mind sharp and poisonous, he secretly cultivated an evil technique, using arrays to confuse and trap his own disciples, drawing their essence blood to form a cocoon. Emotion, it's you. Just as Lu Qing finished reading the information that had appeared in his vision, he heard the sword-bearing man beside him already shouting. As the sect master, you resorted to cultivating an evil technique, not even sparing your own disciples. Truly you've become an evil demon. Feeling the strong aura emanating from Emotion, the sword-bearing man could clearly understand the situation before him. Ha ha ha! You all forced me to do this. Had you not killed the two supreme elders and sought to destroy our Flowing Cloud Sect, I would never have resorted to this. Yet I must thank you all. Ever since I acquired the secret technique, I struggled to decide whether or not to extract human essence blood to cultivate the immortal technique. But now, I realize just how delicious human essence blood is, surpassing all spirit pills. No wonder my ancestors went so crazy. Having obtained such power, what does the sect matter, or even my wife and children? I could kill them too. Emotion gazed at his own hands, somewhat fascinated, feeling the surging power within him while laughing wildly, the evil aura from his body shaking off, truly malevolent. This Emotion has already gone mad. The sword-bearing man noted Emotion's maniacal laughter. His expression darkened. Elder, we must kill him. Otherwise, if he escapes, all the people in the world will suffer because of him. Do you have the ability to kill me? Before the elder doctor could reply, Emotion already showed disdain. Now, newly transformed into a blood demon body and experiencing a surge in power, his confidence was at its peak. He believed even if all three men before him joined hands, none would be his match. Good. I haven't yet tasted the essence blood of someone at the innate realm. I wonder how delicious it will be. Emotion looked at the elder doctor and the others, licked his lips, and his face was full of a bloodthirsty expression. The evil aura around him surged again, causing the sword-bearing man's heart to palpitate. He couldn't help but change color. What evil technique had Emotion cultivated to suddenly become so powerful? At this moment, the aura around him seemed even stronger than that of Mo and his brothers. Heh! It seems that becoming a monster also makes you much less intelligent.